there's all kinds of scenes that I respond to in movies. I respond to music sequences. I respond to big comedy sequences. It was like they galvanized the entire theater. Everybody woke up. Everybody got connected, and and I would go see a film that had a sequence like that. I would see it 2 or 3 times at the theaters just to see that sequence, and then just to have that experience with an audience.
Okay, welcome to Making Tarantino, the podcast. I'm your host, Philip Duke. On this podcast, we go through a list of movies that Quentin Tarantino likes or recommends, see what they're all about, and if maybe they've influenced his work. There will be spoilers. Today, I'm joined once again by Sam Panico from BNS About Movie podcast and Groovy Doom's Driving Asylum on YouTube. Hello, Sam.
Hey, how you doing?
I am doing good. Thank you for... It was a thing where I learned my lesson today because now next time I have all these people lined up and I need to reach out to them the week before and say, hey, don't forget, we're doing the show on Thursday.
Or you need a producer to do this for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let me hire somebody else.
You could hire an intern to do it.
There you go. Yeah. They'll be like, do I get college credit? No.
They're looking for experience.
Yeah, exactly. Did you want to tell the listeners about yourself and your podcast? It's called BNS About Movies because it was you and Becca.
Yeah.
And
she still gets involved sometimes.
I think a lot of people are probably like, BNS, like what?
Yeah, like bands about movies.
Mm.
But yeah, that's where it got started with Becca. And she'll come on. She will come on to the video cast sometimes. And she films all the drink videos. So you might hear her do the drink videos. But yeah, like originally we were doing a podcast and I was like, oh, we should have a site to go with the podcast. And I tried to get her to write some stuff. She's like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
She had her own podcast for a bit too. They were #1 in Thailand for a while. Because it was all about one true crime show. I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't because the OJ one was really big. We did the OJ,
oh wow, all right,
that one. The one with what's his name from Friends is Robert Kardashian.
Oh right, yeah. That was
the Juice.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, the one with what's the name from Jerry Maguire was OJ.
Oh yeah.
And then they made that Menendez movie. Then they made the newer Menendez movie, and my wife was like, "Why do I know that guy?" Like one of the guys that was playing their lawyer. She was like, why do I know him? And she was like, oh, he's Harv from Nash Bridges. I was like, yeah.
Oh, Nash Bridges is big.
Yeah.
Are you watching Mean Girl Murders on HBO? Do you watch that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my wife's favorite now.
Yeah.
The one this week was really upsetting because it was like a whole church town that were like all kind of horrible people. And then the poor girl was like, she got bullied. None of the church people helped her. The mean girls helped her. And they're like, oh, she was a horrible person. Like, no.
Yeah.
Feels like everybody else in this town was a jerk.
She was trying to live her life right, and it pulled her off, and it was like, and everyone was surprised because they were like, she went to church every week, like, oh,
it was really upsetting. Like that was, my wife loves that. God, that HBO Max, now we can call it HBO Max again, is insidious because like you see stuff. It's like, hey, it always shows me like things that I want to watch. And it's like, oh, Criterion has these movies. Cool, great. You know what I mean? And like, or TCM, and there's all this stuff. And it's like, or would you rather watch Mean Girl Murders and A Body in the Basement and Just Like That?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, honey, Body in the Basement came back. And then I shared that one with you where I was like, oh, you should watch this one about the woman.
Oh, she loved it. Yeah.
The woman that kept those people in the basement. It was like, what the fuck?
The new one this week was crazy because like that guy who was like putting out like Craigslist ads. Did you see this one yet?
No, and I don't think.
Welcome to Phil's True Crime Podcast. But if you want your wife to do stuff with you, that's the move.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy, like, he left his wife and found out he was paranoid schizophrenic. Then he decided he was going to be gay. These things aren't related. And and like he became like a leather daddy kind of guy.
Oh, that
And
guy. Yeah, we did.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like when the cops came. I thought you would relate. He was holding a small dog while he was wearing an apron and
Yeah.
and
And the
a
leather
bunch
bondage.
in the
Yeah.
leather like a demolition from WWE outfit.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yes, can I help you?" And like I like that he's like, "Who's gonna watch my dog? Because I'm gonna come back."
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, the cops aren't gonna find the guy's testicles in a frying pan."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. My wife was like, this morning, she was like, I don't think I finished that one. And then I told her, well, we heard it on Sword and Scale on the podcast. And then she goes, oh yeah, that was the one that thought he was coming back home because he was worried about the dog. She's like, how much time did he get? And I go, I don't, they all blend together. I'm like, I don't remember how much time he got, but he got a lot because they found a dead body. That dead
Yeah.
guy was there.
Oh, and it's just like also the one lady that was in it, the black girl, was like, she's like, he was often having a bad time, but he tried to make us feel okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a really weird comment to say about like if somebody asked me about you, I'm like, oh, Phil
Yeah.
was always a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I would never say like he always seemed bothered by something, but he never let it bother. Like she was like really like wanted to tell us there was something else. And I'm like, I don't know.
You're
Like it
like,
just
keep it, leave it. Yeah.
yeah, just like
It's,
the guy's dead. Just let him be
yeah.
dead. Like
It's like I always say when you're watching Dateline and they're like, the guy was the nicest guy. And you're like, yeah, but
oh
was he really? But at least she was like, but he had some. And that was funny because I did notice that where she stopped herself. I was like, was that edited? I go, no, she
yeah.
realized like I'm going down this way. I need to shut up and
If anyone
be
ever
positive.
says when I die that I lit up a room, that I like to exercise, that I
Yeah.
like it's like all these
Yeah.
things. Like, no,
Yeah.
that ain't me. I don't light up any fucking rooms. But this is like everyone, and it's always like, especially oh, what's the other? Evil Lives Here. That's
Oh yeah.
the worst one
Yeah.
of them.
Hmm.
Because it's every week it's the same. It's really like you start to empathize with the killers in it because it's like I like they're like they were nice at first, but then there were
There
signs.
were
They do this.
signs.
There
Yeah.
were signs, and the one girl's like she's like the first time I went to eat at his house, he didn't like what his mom was cooking, so he shoved the sandwich in her face, and you still married him
Yeah. Yeah.
like
You're like, it's almost your fault for not reading the signs.
it's totally their
They're
fault,
not little signs.
and it's like it's all always the same stuff, and they always and I get it, like right, like
Yeah.
I've been in some bad relationships in my life, and like, but also it's like, come on, guys, like you should recognize this, and it's I don't know. Anyways, every episode eventually becomes the same to the point that I just start yelling at the TV and I start laughing throughout and I start saying horrible things. And then I'm like, these are real people that died, and these aren't like people in one of my movies. And then I just like make songs up about them. It's horrible. I
Yeah.
also dance during. This is another tip for getting your wife to be interested in you. I dance during the theme songs for these shows. So I've invented different dances during the Evil Lives Here. I got a good dance for that one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because there's a dun 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 dun
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. You got to have a tight true crime theme song. I think.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Gets the
Unsolved
hook.
Mysteries did it the best, and they're
Yeah.
like you can't touch Unsolved Mysteries. Like
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
best of all time. Also, that they didn't give a shit. They're like, we're not just crimes. We got aliens, and we got like Padre Pio, and we have like
Yeah.
Catholic miracles. They hit everything, and plus you got Robert Stack. Like it's great. It's
Yeah.
perfect. You got what's his name? You got like real good actors in it too. Sometimes, like they'll just
Yeah.
randomly
They
show up.
they
Like
showed up
McConaughey's
like
in the first
I was gonna
episode.
say that one that showed up was McConaughey being like, "Hey, wait, I'm
Yeah,
gonna fuck you up."
yeah, and then he
Um.
gets killed while his mom watches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoiler
Um.
for Unsolved
Yeah.
Mysteries for a true crime case.
That's right. Um. That's the thing where usually I want to find. My wife has this joke of like, this bitch better be dead. Like she doesn't want
Oh,
like,
oh.
and then I survived. And
Yeah. Do
she's
you like
like,
when they
I
bring her
don't
back
want
and
to.
you're like shocked and she has
Yeah.
like a gaping hole in her side of her head?
Yeah. There was one, and then we'll get back to the movie podcast. Um,
Yeah.
we were listening to Sword and Scale. It's a really good podcast about murder. And they had this woman who they said the guy, he was a teacher and he was dating her. Then she got pregnant and he took her out, picked her up at the park, took her out to the woods and killed her. And so then they did the trace, found her, And but the way they said it was he shot her, and so you thought she was dead. Then it's playing audio of the cops looking for her, and
Hmm.
they're like, oh
Oh yeah,
shit,
yeah.
tear those trees down. Like we need to come in here, like bring the ambulance. And she's alive. She was like, had a lot of therapy to do, and not what she was,
I think I
but
know. Is
she
that in
lived.
Minnesota? Maybe
Something like that. Yeah.
they're either
And
in Minnesota or
and we were like,
Michigan. Like Michigan's the
yeah,
place.
but we're like, holy shit. But another idea that I have for the Patreon, but it's going to be hard to write, that I want to do true crime cinema. So it
Mm,
would be like you would
like
write it
Badlands.
like you would write it like a true crime story. No,
Mm,
like a true crime story, but like
mm.
write about John Lithgow in Blowout.
Oh,
So
okay.
so you're taking it that way. And then he met, and the John Travolta character and all that, and you're doing it in that way, and then, finishing at the end. Or
I,
like
I
Carrie or something.
I always wanted to write a slasher, like rewrite Friday the 13th in that style,
Mhm.
where it's all like like how they do like the Manson ones, but it's all like the murders
Oh,
of
right. Yeah.
Jason Voorhees, and it's like set up like that. But
Yeah.
eventually, like it has to come full circle, like because I don't think someone would have the attention span. Like it wouldn't play theaters. It would need to like twist around.
Yeah. My cousin had that idea for if you had somebody doing a documentary looking for like El Mariachi, like I've heard about this killer,
Yeah,
and like you're in Mexico, like looking for him. Um, but yeah, speaking of Friday the 13th, got my
nice.
Crystal Lake bloody
Crystal
t-shirt.
Lake.
Um,
Oh,
and
this
I just
place must
recently
be this
bought that.
place.
I bought that whole box set of Friday the 13th. I go, honey, I realize that it's $125, but there's 14 movies in there. So that's like
Hmm.
$8 each. So she was like, all right. So bought it for me for my
That's the
birthday.
one that Bill's on.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Yeah, he
cool.
did the. That's how you could have sold it. Like, well, my friend's on this.
Yeah, yeah. On he
Yeah, that's
did
the
he
way.
did the like showing the ads, or
Yeah, he did that, and he did the Halloween one both for Shot Factory. The Shot Factory ones he did.
oh, okay. And is
So
that
yeah,
on the special features on
yeah. I don't
the
have it, so
extra disc? Okay.
yeah. But he also did the Beyond recently for
Oh,
Grindhouse.
okay. Eric just bought that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so anyway, I'm BNS about movies. That's me. It's just me, but it's also my wife is involved, but
But
she puts
also
up she puts up with me driving her crazy talking about movies.
but also like you said, when you want her to write for your site, like
Hmm.
it's your stuff is so small. Oh, that was the other movie that the Hispanic lady was in. She was in Frankenstein meets
Oh, well, of course.
Dracula's daughter, Frankenstein, somebody's daughter.
That's
Which
it.
I
Yeah.
have written later. But yeah, they're so short, they make you laugh, and then you're like, oh, and like you always say, like it's not fucking Citizen Kane. Like go watch Jesse James and Dracula's daughter or whatever it is.
Well, I think it's funny because people are always like, you want the movies that we discover to be a discovery, and
Yeah.
sometimes they aren't. Often they aren't. But I wrote about one. We actually showed it on the show, Nest of the Cuckoo Birds.
Mhm.
That movie is amazing. Like that movie's crazy, and it's like a Florida shot independent film by an actor who basically just did like 70 like beyond B level roles. He was beyond
Wow.
second
Yeah.
banana roles. He was a cop in a lot of movies and just in a lot of and like we've been showing. I think this season it's been really cool because we've been showing a lot of deep cut stuff and stuff that people um didn't know about. This week's like that too because we're doing Witchcraft 70, which is like a kind of it's an Italian movie, White Angel, Black Angel. It's a documentary about witchcraft in the 70s, but also in
Oh,
a
wow.
Mondo, kind of sort of a Mondo. And then in the US, once they got it to the US, they're like, this is kind of boring. What if we shot a bunch of new stuff? And what if
Oh,
we did a
wow.
totally different voiceover? And yeah, it's pretty great because the Edmund Purdom did the British version,
Mhm.
right? The voice, and I love Edmund Purdom, but like the American version is directed by Lee Frost, who did was involved a lot of a lot of Nazi roughies, uh, and like Will Gear did actually Will Gear did the British one. Jack Palance and Edmund Purdom did some of this other one. This one has Anton LaVey more in it. They like
Oh,
staged
wow.
some witchcraft scenes. it's great.
Well, yeah,
It's
that's what's good about Haxon is
mhm.
Haxon is like this documentary type thing of here's how we used to torture people and all that. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh wow, it's interesting.
yeah. This
But
movie
yeah, it
is
would be
not as
weird
good as
to
Haxon.
make a yeah.
It's not going in the Criterion closet, but
Yeah.
yeah, Lee Frost did a climax of Blue Power, which is pretty infamous. The Black Gestapo, Police Women, The Thing with Two Heads,
Oh, I was
Chrome and
look
Hot Weather.
on my black exploitation book, I saw that Black Gestapo. I was like,
Oh, it's
oh, this
great.
is interesting. Yeah,
It's a movie that really pushes all the buttons.
that's
They're
funny.
like, what if black people got super into being Nazis
Yeah.
and started dressing like them?
You're
Afraid to go there. It's in the 70s where they're like, nobody cares. And
yeah.
like,
Well, it's what's interesting, your internet's lagging a little bit, but I got the gist of it. What's interesting is like
oh,
you're saying
sorry.
about these movies that so Eric sends me movies, you sent me some movies recently. So I finally got to Psychomania yet yesterday morning and or this
Hmm.
or whatever. And it was one where I understand the it's crazy because they're showing suicide and it's these bikers who commit suicide and then they live forever. And so it's interesting in that way. It's
The
so
Living Dead.
different.
Yeah.
It's a cool 70s thing. It's really neat. But then I'm like, am I gonna keep this? Like, I don't think so. But it's part of
Oh,
that
I am.
that push and pull where but it's unique and maybe I should have it on the shelf. So if anybody goes, what's a weird movie? I
Oh,
can go, what about this one?
I have so many copies of it. Um,
Yeah.
and like I bought it so many times, and then it's in the second Severin, all the Hans BR set. So now
Yeah.
I have like that's probably the best version that's ever going to come out
Yeah.
of it.
Well,
And
and
like,
that
but I think I
DVD
watched that movie.
looks great. The DVD
Yeah,
looks
I've
amazing.
seen it. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched that movie, Phil.
Yeah. But
It's a favorite.
yeah.
Uh, it's a, it's got like a good vibe. I like movies. I like upper crust British people being into crazy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
These are the things that I look for. And biker gangs that don't seem dangerous at all. Nobody in that
Yeah.
biker gang seems dangerous. The girl's great though.
And and
Her outfit's wonderful.
yeah,
I,
and the weirdness of like they're having that ceremony and all of a sudden she turns into the frog and you're just like, okay, like
oh,
that just happens. And the sad thing of George Sanders being like his last film, like,
oh yeah.
you know,
It's I have a big weakness for movies where bikers cross over with the unknown and the
mhm,
supernatural too. Like Werewolves on Wheels is
yeah,
another one. I guess um yeah, there's I'm sure there's a few others. There's not enough is what
yeah,
I am saying. But anyways, yeah, that's a good one.
yeah.
Uh but we're talking about Roy Rogers
But
today. How about that?
exactly. Well, let me get to first rate review and subscribe
Yeah.
to us wherever you get your podcast. Even subscribe to Sam's stuff. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you want more talk like this, go to Phil on Cinema on Patreon, where I do Shaping Scorsese. I do, you were on there for a physical media collecting.
Yeah.
I've had a bunch of people on for that. That's always fun. I do Phil's film favorite. I did Zora the Gay Blade. And the Shaping Scorsese, I'm going to be doing this Sunday. So when you hear this, it'll be next week. But I did the setup with Robert Ryan, and it's really
Mm.
good. And Jennifer will be on for that one. And
Hmm.
so yeah, so it's $5 a month for 2 episodes a month. So why wouldn't you sign up?
Yeah.
Okay, now
Well,
we're into Roy Rogers. Oh, go ahead.
no, why haven't I signed up? I got to sign up. I promise.
Well, it's okay. I understand. It's like I was doing the video archives and then I was like, okay, they're done, so I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
But I try to always, and I'm having fun doing that. And right now I have this all scheduled out up until like November.
Oh wow.
And so it's almost getting a little bit like I need to focus. And especially when I have like, I'm recording with you. So I watched uh, on the Spanish Trail, on the old Spanish Trail. Then I watched the setup because I'm recording with Jennifer later tonight at like 2
Hmm.
a.m. Then on Monday I'm recording Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, and then next Thursday I'm recording, and our show will be up next Thursday. So it's all that stuff that kind of piles up that I gotta clear my head and go, okay, what do I have to watch for? Where do I have to make my
Oh,
notes?
I have a schedule. I made a Google Doc of what movies are going to be on the site and when, because like all next month is movies that played on USA Up All Night,
Oh,
and
cool.
then November is movies that played on Pittsburgh's Chiller Theater, or October is Chiller Theater, and then also I'm doing Unsung Horrors, Horror Gives Back, like where they pick topics, and then also that's when Scarecrow Video does their topics too. So like October is always, but October is like that should be the month that's full of movies, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's like Christmas for
yeah.
me. So but yeah, I'm excited. And then I'm in the middle of doing Genre Blast Film Fest right now, and about halfway through those films, and they'll be posting this weekend. So yeah, I have to keep detailed schedules because otherwise, like my brain
Yeah, yeah,
fog
you go
gets.
well, and even with me where I go, I need to start doing a schedule for social media because then I'm like, oh
Mhm.
shit, hang on, I didn't put anything out since, Monday or whatever. But
Yeah.
anyway, the tagline, looking for big thrills, Roger has them. And we've got Rogers in natural true color, which is weird because this is in black and white. Did you find anything about color, about what?
Uh, yeah. So the print that TCM has
Mhm,
is a 16 millimeter print made for the home movie market before it was sold to TV.
mhm,
And there's an opening title card, and there's a black bar that goes over in true color. So I think when this played in theaters, it was in color.
oh, wow.
But the commercially available VHS tapes are black and white. They're from the same source. So everybody thinks the TV prints were edited down. They're shorter than the original runtime, and they're in black and white because that's how they made them in black and white for TV.
Yeah. So it might be
So,
like, well, also like I don't think it would be like that. But what I liked about on my straight jacket, indicator straight jacket, is it's got like a 8 minute, like it breaks the movie down like way short for when you bought it on 16 or 8 millimeter. Yeah, it was 8 millimeter, and you brought it home, it would be like a shorter version. Like you and I
mm,
talked about where I've been looking for it forever, that 10-minute version of Star Wars that I watched in school that we put on the put on the camera and showed it on the wall. And I was like, this is amazing. But I had explained to a blind kid what Star Wars was. Very
uh,
difficult.
yes.
But
True Color, though, it was a process created by Consolidated Film Industries. That was part of Republic Pictures, who did this, and it replaced their Magnicolor process. It's a way different process. Once Eastman Color came out, which was
yeah.
cheaper, True Color they got rid of, and that's right around when Republic stopped making films. But it was a two color
Well, and
process.
I was gonna
It's
say that me and Bill Van Ryn, our
mm,
favorite, one of my favorite movies is Doctor X, and it's
hmm
done with that dual color, not
yeah.
tricolor, but it's like got greens in it, and it's from 1930 or 31, and you're like, holy shit, like it's amazing.
Yeah,
And
because whenever Variety reviewed Twilight and the Sierras, another Roy Rogers movie,
mhm,
they said the quote was true color tinting adds to the production values, despite the overall untrue reproduction of facial and landscape hues. So that kind of makes sense because two color,
yeah,
you really need RGB or really four color process CMYK to properly get, because when you build flesh like in paint, it's
yeah,
multiple colors and it's very hard to get. But yeah, there were three different processes called True Color. But yeah, they the other thing I'm wondering uh if True Color was just so hard to move over to TV.
mm,
Do you know what I mean? Like it just didn't look
yeah,
right on TV, and they would have had to have add another color. Plus, sometimes I'm sure you've seen where movies get the old movies would like stretch out and they would look weird.
yeah.
I'm wondering if some of the other stuff happened like that. So they were just like, you know what, let's
Well,
just put these into black and white.
and also where it's not like when Turner went and colorized a bunch of stuff.
Hmm
That's still sometimes that face would change a little bit, like the skin
It
color.
it always
Whereas,
looked like tinted, like when they used to tint silent movies.
yeah,
Like that's why I
that
never really got
hue.
into colorizing. Like it just
Yeah,
didn't. It never looked real. And also, I like black and white. That's probably
yeah,
why this print too looks so dark because like for example, like I'm looking at it right now, and there's a scene where they're diving into the river, and
Yeah.
like the river looks so black. It's probably because it was blue, the darkest blue, and that's how it translated over when they pulled the black and white print.
Yeah.
Also, they probably weren't concerned because they sold these Republic sold these movies as a
Yeah.
huge package.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
already
It
making
was.
their movie, but it's 18 minutes, between 18 and 21 minutes shorter depending on the print, than
Oh, really?
the original movie.
Yeah. That's
I don't know
interesting.
what they would have cut for TV other than I think they tried to keep it to an hour, probably because when it ran on TV it was probably an hour and a half. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe even 2 hours, and they did like money movie and stuff with it. Do you know what I mean? So there'd
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
segments between it. So
And
that's
you know
probably
what?
how it worked out.
I was just thinking it's interesting that in these old movies they would write and sing their own songs, like they were originals.
Hmm.
And then years later, when you watch a movie now, like there's a episode in Nash Bridges, maybe you remember, it had a song that was basically Aerosmith's "Don't Want to Miss a Thing,"
Hmm.
but it was sang like it, but it wasn't it, but it has the same beats, and you're like, oh, this totally wants to be this. Um,
Well, that's like
but like we
there's
didn't
a
put up with it getting older. We were like, oh, like I don't want an original song, I want I want a needle drop or something.
well, I think Needle Drop got smarter about how they license it, where you could license whole catalogs.
Yeah.
But also like that was a big thing in commercials where like when we would shoot them, we would edit against existing music, like you
Mm.
said, like an Aerosmith song or something. And then we would there were whole catalogs that would put sound alikes out. And there's a couple reasons why that stopped beyond just the licensing, but there's an infamous case of Frito-Lay did they own, I think they're the ones that own Chester Cheetah. They they had tried to get Tom Waits to do a Cheetos commercial, which I find hilarious.
Yeah.
Right? Like who would want that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was like, no, I don't ever want to do that. Like that's horrible. And they did it anyway, and it
Yeah.
sounds just like one of his songs. And it's Chester Cheetah talking over it. Somehow he heard it. People sent him. This is pre-internet, and
Yeah.
people heard it, made tapes of it, taped off the radio, sent it to him. He wants so much money off this,
Yeah.
and I think so now. Like they really go out of their way to not do sound alikes unless it's like
Yeah.
a parody. The other place that these sound alikes exist all the time now, and if I know you watch as much streaming as me, all
Yeah.
these drug commercials get these songs in them,
Yeah.
and like they change them up to like Antivio and these things. I don't want to give them more press than they already have, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's crazy where they do these songs. Also, like a lot of times they'll have like really well-known songs in these commercials, and I'm like, I know how expensive this commercial was already. There's like 10 people talking in it,
Yeah.
and it's like they didn't have to spend
Yeah.
the
You
money to
didn't.
get the
Yeah.
license. Like we get it. Like this song adds nothing to it. It's not like there are songs like Coke, Coke and a Smile, and
Yeah.
like there's certain other songs that were used in commercials, and it's like, oh, cool, like that made the commercial more memorable. None of these
Yeah.
songs do that anymore. Now it's just like, I don't know. It
Yeah.
feels like too much.
Yeah. There's a law thing that's like this guy named Raffy, and all it
Hmm.
does is Raffy, but it makes you remember, like, oh, Raffy.
Yeah.
So, like, you ever get arrested, or you get injured, you'll be like, Raffy, let me call that guy.
We have
But
Edgar
also,
Snyder here as our guy. Yeah.
like you and I said on an episode before about, I think it was Kung Fu Brothers Dynamite, whatever. It was
Yeah.
Jim Kelly and somebody else, and they just, for the chase scene, they just put in like Live and Let Die. They just said,
Oh yeah.
play it, we don't care.
Well, the
And
Godfrey Ho ninja movies are infamous for that, where it was just like, and Shaw Brothers too. Like Shaw Brothers would just take a lot of
your internet's slowing down.
dark side of
Oh, really?
the moon.
Hang on, I'm waiting for it to catch back up. You froze.
I could. I don't know if it'll help or not.
Okay, you can what? Oh, go off
Oh,
and come back,
okay.
or what?
I'll switch to my other laptop. Give me 1 second.
Okay, hang on. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it's weird. Like Shaw Brothers would use the craziest music. Like they would use a lot of Pink Floyd. They would use a lot of Tangerine Dream, obviously Tangerine Dream.
Wow.
Yeah, and even like the Phantasm soundtrack shows up a lot. And then like as Shaw Brothers switches out to like these smaller companies, like the stuff Godfrey Ho worked on,
Yeah.
like it's crazy the stuff. Like I have a whole there's a couple of lists on Letterboxd of the bands that are on it, but it's always like weird stuff. Like Sisters of Mercy show up in these movies all the
Oh
time, and like
wow. Yeah.
Clan of Zymox and like all this weird 4AD bands show up, and it's like, who wanted this to be in with with kung fu stuff? Like also a lot of Midnight Express shows up in it. Like the chase
Oh
from Midnight
wow.
Express
Yeah.
shows up all the time, and it's like that's a pretty well known song.
And it's weird that nobody like complained or whatever. It's like,
I don't think like I said, it was a smaller world at that
yeah.
point,
I think we talked about it before,
or
but
bigger world. Yeah.
when Quentin wrote Reservoir Dogs, he put Stuck in the Middle with You was written in there. So when they went to the band, it was in the script and it was like, oh, you want that. When he did Pulp Fiction, he learned from that and they play something like the Judds.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when they go to say, hey, we wanted the Judds, but we're going to, you, Dick Dale, and then it's
Yeah,
like, okay, I'll charge you less or whatever,
it's like that crazy movie, The Astrologer, not the Suicide Cult, The Astrologer.
Right. The
The
one, yeah.
Yeah, and like Umbrella's finally putting it out,
Oh,
and
wow.
and what's I don't know what is going to be on it, because when the director, writer, producer, the same guy, put it together, like he put all this moody blues music in it, and then he sent them a bill for being in his
Oh,
movie,
that's right. Yeah.
which is the balls,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
the balls on this guy.
Yeah.
And it's like no one's gonna recognize Nights in White Satin is in your movie,
Yeah.
but
Well,
like he did it, and
yeah.
but it's like today, like I think also music licensing is so figured out today. We're not going to get into the state of other movies where like heavy metal and Get Crazy, and there's a few other ones where
Yeah. Like
they were trapped forever.
looking for Mr.
Yeah,
Goodbar in that first 10 minutes is like wall to wall music. And you're like, oh shit, this is going to be a bitch to try to license.
yeah, because like a lot of that stuff was on multiple labels. They
Yeah.
were just grabbing them for one movie, and no one. Maybe they thought VHS would be coming out then, but I think it's for a lot of people VHS seemed like it would be rental only. Do you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be buying and owning and playing these things over and over in your house. Like it's amazing now. And now, if you think about it, like all those cases of home taping and all the stuff that happened before don't matter anymore. Now it's like streaming. We all have that movie available in our homes at any point.
Yeah.
So the licensing gets very strange.
Yeah, it's like when we had Laserdisc, you could just record right onto your tape and it'd be in widescreen and you'd have it. And it was like,
how many movies do I have that are Japanese laser discs that were put onto VHS?
Yeah.
Because that was the only way to get a lot of Argento stuff back in the day.
Well, even Disney stuff, Song of the South, but you could still get the Japanese laser disc or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I have a DVD bootleg of it. Not that I love the movie, but it's like, it's one of those things that you want to own. Yeah. And you want to have it. But yeah,
there was some I like when either somebody admits to it of like, I forget who it was, but recently somebody was like, I think what's his name that did that. Anyway, I can't. But somebody will say like, no, I didn't steal it. It's like, Rob Van Dam being like, or not Rob Van Dam, the Van Winkle. Will be like, no, I didn't steal it. And then other people, I think it was Sean Smith or somebody was like, oh shit, it was somebody that did the Tom Petty was like gonna sue them, was like, that's basically my song of whatever, and they were like, oh shit, I realize it now, I'm so sorry, and paid him the money. When Pharrell is like, no, I didn't steal it, and then has to go to court and loses because
what's crazy is that, like, if you speaking of Tom Petty, like Danny California is the exact same song as what do you call it? It sounds just like one of his songs, and Rick Rubin produced both songs.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't like realize this. I don't know.
But then I like for movies, we'll get back to this in a minute, but like for movies, when Piranha comes out and Universal's like, we're gonna sue, we're gonna tell them cease and desist, and Spielberg's like, no, I like the movie, it's fun, like leave them alone. And they're like, okay, and they leave them alone, and they can, do their Piranha movie. So, which is great.
Yeah.
But on the old Spanish Trail, 1947, the plot: a cowboy turns bounty hunter to pay off his debts. So basically, so here's the thing, right? I tell Sam, hey, are we ready for in an hour? And Sam's like, what the fuck? Like, no, I forgot. And I've been busy. And I'm like, okay. I go, that's my bad. And so I said, so then you go, well, let's do it in an hour and a half. And I said, okay. And so you didn't have a chance to watch a movie, which is fine. But
I'm watching it now though.
let me
So,
give
and
you a
I've,
break. The
yeah. Give,
breakdown is
yeah.
that not just what I said, but the bounty hunter. So he, the bank comes to Roy Rogers and says, hey, the fucking Sons of the Pioneers owe us money. And he's like, how much? And they go, $10,000. And he's like, whoa, okay, well, can you give me a couple days to go talk to them? And the bank guy's like, okay, I will. And the sheriff takes him away, and he goes and finds them. They're on like a traveling tent revival show, whatever. And so he goes and finds them and says, hey guys, you owe $10,000. And serendipitously finds out that, oh, this guy named the Gypsy is wanted for $10,000. So if you get him, you can pay off their debt. So they find this gypsy who's the Hispanic gypsy guy but he's not the guy. But he robs Roy Rogers. He did take a letter from Roy Rogers. And then later they find out, oh, that's not the guy. Like, he's not the guilty one. He's a nice guy. And Roy Rogers starts to like, okay, I believe you. And it's really good. And then they go from there to try to catch the real bad guys, which are part of that traveling show with the Sons of the Pioneers. Like, those are the bad guys.
It's pretty wild. I like we talk all the time these days about how people have superhero fatigue, from being too many superhero movies.
Yeah.
Cowboy movies outdo anything we ever thought of how many cowboy movies were out all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Like, just in 1947, the year this was made, Roy Rogers was in 5 movies. The year before, he was in 8 movies.
Wow.
And it's amazing because, and also they're very similar. All the names, I know AI didn't exist then, right? But like in 46, he was in Song of Arizona, Rainbow Over Texas, Under Nevada Skies, Roll on Texas Moon, Home in Oklahoma, Out California Way, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so when we bring back on the old Spanish Trail, and then there's Under California Stars in 48, Eyes of Texas, Nighttime in Nevada, like Down Dakota Way. It's like they're very fill in the blank of what they're.
I wonder. I mean, it is the Old West, but I wonder if it's a little bit of rock band, like Welcome Nevada, and everybody. So if you put Nevada in your title, people go, "Oh, I'm from Nevada. I want to go see that more."
He did so up until 51. He started in these as like playing himself, and like 42, and or 41, he did Red River Valley, and then like he's the whole way up. Like, he did so many of these movies.
Yeah.
And like, so if you look at how he was ranked, like there's like a list of box office ratings. He was in 42, number 2 behind Gene Autry. 43, he was most popular. He was the 24th most popular overall star in the US and the most popular Western star. He was the 10th most popular US star for 45 and 46. Wow. Right. And he stayed in the top 20 until 1950. He was the most popular Western star for 10 years in a row. And he literally went through, there's like that ebb and flow of like where the movie Westerns were huge. Yeah. And then once they had all these movies to sell to TV Westerns became big, and then TV series Westerns became big, and they sold these packages, and all the cowboy guys got rich again, and they would tour, and do you know what I mean? And do like, and it's like, he really goes through both those. Hopalong Cassidy is another one that does it, and Gene Autry. Yeah.
And that's what I was going to ask, if in your research or whatever's written down there, where then he had the TV show that my grandma and grandpa used to always watch. So I think all of us, I'm 54 now. It was my birthday on Tuesday.
Yeah, happy birthday. I meant to tell you.
And thank you. And but with that, we grew up, so we knew Tumbling Tumbleweeds because of the Roy Rogers TV show.
Yeah,
And Happy Trails, we knew that. And
yeah.
so when you see Die Hard and he says, I was always partial to Roy Rogers, his sequin shirts, and you're like, oh, I know what he's talking about. But
It's part of the fabric of the U.S.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Trigger and everything. But my thing was, so do you think, so was his TV show just his movies cut up, or was it its own thing? Because I forget if it was like a
He
30
did it.
minute,
He did a comedy Western variety show, the Roy Rogers and Dale Evans show, that went
Mhm.
for a short amount of time.
Right.
But he also had a 3-year series called Brave Eagle.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, I think of him and Dale Evans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure did.
But the reason I know him
Mhm.
is from the licensing of his name, second to Walt Disney at the time period
Oh,
for
wow.
licensing his name. He's one of the first people to have his own action figures, novels, comic strip. He had a long running
Wow.
comic.
Yeah.
But then there's still there. You don't have them near you. There's still 7 in Pennsylvania, Roy Rogers restaurants.
Oh, wow.
Which were a big deal. Where my first ad agency was, there was one in there. And originally they were called Roby's House of Beef, which is a great name. Marriott owns them now. They first, in 68, they changed them to Roy Rogers Roast Beef. Eventually they became known for fried chicken. They're all, they were sold to the company that owns Hardee's, and this is very sad. And then it was sold again. Very sad time. The last Hardee's in Pittsburgh closed this week, so everybody's very depressed. Yeah, but their menu is mostly, it's weird. It's roast beef, fried chicken, sides, and the fries there come in a holster of fries at Roy Rogers, so they literally look like a holster. So they're very close to, like, Big Boy actually founded these, but
oh, wow.
there's a crazy story. In 19 Well, there's a true crime story and a Roy Rogers story. So the true crime story is in 1976 of Fairfax, Virginia, Roy Rogers was robbed. 5 employees were herded into the restaurant's freezer and all shot in the head. Only one survived.
Wow.
But in August 30th, 1977, Roy Rogers and the Sons of the Pioneers were performing at the Fairfax Roy Rogers restaurant. Roy was struck in the head with a cottage cheese pie thrown by a 17-year-old. The youth pled guilty and was fined $100 for throwing a pie at him. Within Pennsylvania, if you take the Turnpike, there's still one in Allentown. There's a couple other ones. There, almost all of the locations now are Turnpike only.
Oh, wow.
And it's hard to eat because I always think like Turnpike food or highway food needs to be stuff that you can
like a road trip, like
and like it's
you
like
can pick up and go, or
and it feels like fried chicken is a little weird to eat while you're driving.
Well, I would think it would be that thing of let's stop and get gas and go in. Like me and the wife got a Tesla now. I'm not bragging.
Oh, okay,
it's a nice car, but it's the thing. If you go to these superchargers, there's always now restaurants or whatever right there. So while you're waiting your 30 minutes or whatever for your car to charge, you just go in and get a meal. So I can see that. But if you're in a rush, and maybe that's why they're like, okay, you can get and roast beef still a little, like, I'm not going to go to Arby's and get
it's a little messy.
A little messy,
But you would go to Arby's, I think, versus I don't know. I love Roy Rogers. Also, Roy Rogers, super religious, super close with Billy Graham, not superstar.
Oh, wow.
Reverend Billy Graham. And a pilot, owned his own plane, also a major member of the Shriners, and a Freemason who was awarded the honorary 33rd degree of the Scottish Rite in 1975, that's when they tell you all the secrets. So Roy Rogers definitely knew something.
It's like when Leah Remini went in there and they were like, okay, you've reached level whatever.
Now you're clear.
Here it is. And now there's a whole bunch of things inside your body. And she's like, okay. And they're like, now draw it on a piece of paper. She's like, what do you mean? No, draw it again. And she's like thinking like all of this is what the story is. Like, oh my gosh. But
because I'm fascinated by that. And like when they had a Scientology center in Southside and people would make me go in and talk to them all the time. And I was just like, they're like, we will not discuss operating thetans with
Yeah.
you. And I was like, oh, okay. That was sad.
You're like, damn, yeah, I'm not
Damn it.
gonna.
I've done
Yeah,
so much research.
yeah,
I probably think the reason this is a Tarantino movie, honestly,
mhm,
right? It's because this is a
yeah,
William Whitney
yeah,
movie who he always calls out.
yeah,
William Whitney's career is insane because he directed all the way up until 1982.
yeah.
Like,
It's. I thought his last movie he directed was that blaxploitation they did,
Darktown
Darktown
Strutters, yeah.
Strutters, which is
Yeah.
great. It's fun, but he did a book and it sucked because I went to look for this movie in that book, but
Hmm.
that book stops like after some of his serials, and
Yeah.
then he died before he could write the sequel to the book.
Yeah. Quell
But
and Company, aka Showdown at Eagle Gap, is his last one. He did a lot of TV in between there too.
yeah, yeah, there's good fights in this, as you said, them jumping in the water, them fighting
Oh,
in the
yeah.
water, the one of them fighting in the gypsy area, whatever they or in the regular town that they're at, and they fight and they fall into a tent and they're fighting all over the place. And that's the other thing, like Roy Rogers doing some of those stunts that they're showing that's not rear projection, he's doing it,
Mhm.
and him doing like he's a pretty good actor, pretty good singer, like, he's got it. It's like when John Wayne was doing the singing cowboy stuff, it was somebody else's voice and he was just playing like he was singing.
Yeah. It's wild because, like, to be a cowboy star in that time,
Yeah,
you really had to have a lot of like. I think of this a lot because my dad and uncle and grandfather used to argue over who the best cowboy star was.
yeah.
Lash LaRue was their favorite.
Lash
The
LaRue's cool.
master of the
Yeah.
bullwhip. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but you think about it, like today, like we don't expect actors to be able to look great in a fight, be good looking, but
Yeah.
also like Roy Rogers has all this other stuff. Like he was a big advocate of adopting children, and he gave a lot of money to homeless causes. Like his life is really fascinating.
Yeah.
Even and it's funny because this is why I think about it. Why I brought up the restaurant. There's people that are younger that will eat at one on the turnpike and not know
Yeah.
what a
Yeah.
Roy Rogers is, in the same way that someone eats it. Like there's still some Arthur Treachers around, and nobody knows that Arthur Treachers was a real person, that he was, on TV,
Mhm.
and like it's just amazing. And also, what chain restaurants succeeded and what didn't. Like Minnie Pearl had a fried chicken restaurant. Kenny
Oh,
Rogers had
wow. Yeah.
famously
Yeah.
Kenny
Yeah.
Rogers
Yeah.
Roasters, and
Yeah.
like which there are still some in India. I think there's
Oh,
some, which is
wow.
weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's yeah, Minnie Pearl, that's somebody else. Minnie Pearl just found a niche
Yeah.
and just, went off on there. But
There's the
but
70s were made for that, where like there were vehicles for people to be. It's different. I know people are famous. People say, oh, people are just famous for being influencers now, but people did it in the 70s. Like Nipsey Russell, I
well,
never
this
saw
is
him do comedy. Like I saw him on
yeah,
game shows.
exactly. That I mentioned that to somebody. I go, I know who Nipsey Russell is, but I never saw what he became famous for.
Yeah.
Buster
And
Brooks was
yeah,
showing up on shows and doing his drunk routine, but he never did a full hour of comedy.
but
And
you
it's
knew
same,
him. You knew who he was the minute he showed up, even as a
yeah,
kid. And you're like, oh, that's the drunk guy. And he's going to, and so you're already in on the joke.
yeah, yeah.
And it's pretty amazing that like people had these characters. There were even like the Squeeze the Charmin guy, or in there were like there's that one guy that would go, oh, hello, or whatever. Like people that would just
Oh,
show
yeah,
up
yeah. The guy
as
from
get
yeah, he was in he was I Love Lucy, and then he was in The
Mhm.
Burbs. The guy that
Yeah.
you know,
And
you
it's like
know,
people like just had these
Lucy's boss.
weird
Yeah.
catchphrase
Yeah.
things where they would show up and you'd be like, oh, that's who they are.
Well, it's
And it's
it's
like
the same
amazing.
thing. Yeah, Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had the guy playing the Nazi character. He was always funny in whatever he did, but you like, how did he become a thing?
Artie
And
Johnson.
and yeah, and all these other people and things, or like even you gotta.
What's amazing is
I
like Lily Tomlin's like such a small part of that show, and she has like a
yeah,
career that lasted today. It's
yeah.
and so do a couple other people do too, but
And that's
yeah.
when and that's when where she had characters. But there was a thing of or like Michael Winslow or somebody like that.
Mhm.
It's the thing, and that's the thing with Michael Winslow. They put him in, like I was talking about this on another podcast, where how does he expand that to do something. Like he can travel around and not do an hour, he can do some, and you're like, oh shit, like it must be difficult. But
I think that's the hard thing is like when you go see someone like Gallagher in
yeah,
concert, like Gallagher's concerts were like 40 minutes of him doing his observational stand up and nobody cared.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
sorry, RIP, whatever.
yeah.
But it's like, we didn't come here to hear you tell us about politics and life. We came here to get hit with
For the
pieces of
yeah, and for
watermelon.
the funny props and the school
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we came here for. And it's like, I think, but like the 70s were a crazy time for that because you had shows like Make Me Laugh and Darn 98 Beauty Pageant
Yeah.
and like Match Game, obviously. But then you had these and Gong Show where you had people like the Unknown Comic
Yeah.
and like just like people that were famous, almost fads. It's very close to like Japanese idol singers where
Yeah.
like people were big for like 6 months or 8 months. And it's like, why were we so
Well,
fascinated by this person?
it is interesting because they have that with like America's Got Talent will pop up
Yeah.
on my Instagram and you'll hear somebody and you'll be like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
They're gone. Like we don't know
Yeah.
who they are. We don't know, they're not touring around. I think they kind of tour around like the American
they
Idol
do
people,
the package
but
show. Yeah.
yeah,
But that's what's amazing about Roy Rogers is that he like for 10 years to be that big of an actor, like not,
yeah,
it's amazing when people get runs like that. And he was famous until the day he died. And I think
yeah,
again, though, famous for the things that he did,
yeah.
the licensing
And when
and the
Trigger
outside.
died, he had Trigger
Yeah.
stuffed and was there at his
Yeah.
Yeah, so starring Roy Rogers as Roy Rogers, like you said, Trigger as Trigger, the smartest
Yeah.
horse in the West, Tito Guarza Guarza as Rico, aka the Gypsy.
He actually
Jane,
brought like a crazy song to the US. I was reading up on Tito Guazar
uh-huh.
and like back then there weren't many.
There's another guy that speaking of real quick before you go on that, the guy from I Love Lucy, Eddie, the Texan guy who was like Hispanic Texan, like he was great, but you're like, how did he must have done albums and back in the 50s, and then all of a sudden we knew of him. What was his name? Eddie. Anyway.
But like Guzar played Carnegie Hall and like the song
wow.
the song La Cucaracha, which is like really it feels like part of like it's one of those like songs that you hear like in Merry Melodies and stuff.
Yeah.
And what I never think about is like they were just taking the popular songs at the time and playing with them and having fun with them in those. And meanwhile, he's in like this guy's in a ton of movies. He up until the 90s, he was still in movies. He was in a ton of Mexican TV.
Oh, wow.
In the 80s and 90s. So I mean, in here, he's somewhat major, but it's amazing.
Funny, but he's funny in this, and he's good. Yeah, he's got the charisma. It's like Roy Rogers too. Like we said, like if you have that charisma and you have everything, you got it.
Yeah, and then Jane Frazee, who's in this, is Candy. She and her sister were since the age of 12, they were a vaudeville act known as the Frazee Sisters.
Oh wow!
And they were in movies until 39. Her sister decided to retire, and then she's in tons of stuff. She's in Hell's a Poppin'. She's in Moonlight in Hawaii, Angels with Broken Wings. Like, so she's in a ton of stuff. It's and also like it feels like cowboy movies are kind of like the B side of things, where it's like, cool, you can still be making movies, but you might not be at the same level as you. There's always like that level of them.
Yeah.
Or like you're Andy Devine, and that's what you're known for.
Say, but Andy Devine is like in this 47 movie that might not be as big as like Stagecoach or these other ones that he's bigger in, and main films, and you're like, okay, but he can go over here and go over there and do all this stuff, and Andy Devine, Constable Cookie Bullfincher.
He's also, I never realized he's the voice of Cornelius the Rooster in Kellogg's Cornflakes. And he was Friar Tuck in the Disney's version of Robin Hood, which I saw a billion times as a kid. Yeah, by the end of his career, he's mostly doing voiceovers for stuff, but he's in The Finks, which is awesome, and he's in Myra Breckenridge, which is not awesome. But he's in that. Everybody, honestly, That and
Yeah.
It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World. He's in both of those movies.
Wow.
And then he
yeah.
also is in another movie that has everybody in it. Wonton Ton, the dog who saved Hollywood. Like, if you were an old Hollywood royalty person,
Yeah.
100% chance you were in that movie.
And
It's the
that's
only a dog movie made by Michael Winter.
yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I remember you did that on your podcast.
Yeah.
And
It's fascinating, that movie.
now Wonton was a real dog, just like the most
No.
famous dog. No, he
No,
wasn't. Okay. It
he's
was
supposed to
made
be
like to be
yeah.
what was that dog's name?
Like Lassie or
No, yeah, but there was a
Tippy.
real famous one. It's on the tip of my tongue. A real famous one from the 30s or something. I can't think of his name, but anyway.
Oh yeah, there's yeah, I know which one you mean. It sounds just like the same name.
Yeah, it's like but Estelita Rodriguez as Lolita, she was in Rio Bravo and a movie you might know, Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter.
Oh, yeah. Rin Tin Tin, that's who you're thinking of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew it would hit my head.
Yeah.
Estelita Rodriguez. Yeah, Rio Bravo is a huge movie, and she's in that.
Yeah.
Like the year after this.
Yeah, she played the innkeeper's girlfriend or wife. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
she started as a singer. And she got picked up. But after she was done acting, she just kept on what do you call it? Kept on singing even after this.
cool.
And my favorite, there's a great quote of her that her third husband was so stingy he wouldn't allow her to buy cold cream for her face and told her to use olive oil, and she said, "I am no salad." in her divorce. Amazing. She only lived to be 40, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. And she died in 1966. Yeah, she was a Copa singer and rocketed to stardom, but yeah, didn't live that long. But yeah, Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter is, I think, a great last movie to be in.
Yeah. I'm thinking, but I'm not sure, but I think that might be the first review that I read on your site was for that movie. And I was like, oh, this is good. And Charles McGraw as Harry Blaisdell. So I think he's the main bad guy. I think. Yeah. He's really good. And you've seen him in other things.
He's the fisherman in The Birds. That's what.
Oh, okay.
And then he's in he's the police chief in The Night Stalker, the first TV movie version. And then he shows up in Johnny Got His Gun, which a fun night out, right?
Jason,
yeah. And then he's the preacher in A Boy and His Dog.
I need to see that. I'm tempted to show it to my wife because she loves Nash Bridges. I want to go, hey, let's watch A Boy and His Dog.
She'll like it. I think,
I did watch, speaking of Don Johnson, I did watch Cherry 2000 the other day, all the way through. I hadn't seen it for a long. Oh, so much fun! I love it.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just fun. And crazy that she went right from that to go do Working Girl, and got nominated. It's like, holy shit.
It's funny because there's a new Blu-ray or 4K that just came out, a body double. And the cover of it has her smoking, and it looks exactly. I've realized now why I'm married to my wife. Yeah, same hair,
I remember
same look.
Yeah,
and it's like, I get it. Like, I saw it when I was young. I get it.
I have the indicator of Blowout, but I mean, sorry, the indicator of Body Double. Yes.
Oh, man.
But written by Gerald Garrity. He had the original story, and then Sloan Nibley wrote the screenplay and directed by William Whitney. And now I understand with some of these shows that we do, like last week, me and Antonio did The Son of Monte Cristo, and we had one comment, and people are like, "What? These movies are too old." But like Lauren Bacall said, there's no such thing as an old movie. It's a movie that you haven't seen yet, and if it's a movie you haven't seen yet. And this was a lot of fun. I like this one. It is like, you could see where it's formulaic, but it's the action. And I didn't bring the book, but it's his autobiography, William Whitney's autobiography of him writing it himself, of like, then when I got with this guy and we did this serial and here's the accident that happened, I asked the stunt guy, can you do this? And he said there was one called Spy
Spy
Smasher,
Smasher, yeah,
and
based on a pulp comic, yeah.
and so he said I wanted the stunt guy to jump in the water, chase the boat. The boat's going to be, he goes, the boat's going to be have a rope traveling behind it. You don't have to grab the rope, like just jump in like you're gonna, and then we'll cut to something else. He goes, the guy jumps in, grabs the rope. He goes, oh shit. So he tells the guy, like, speed up. And the guy speeds up and he's holding on to this rope. Finally, the guy's crawling up the rope, climbs into the boat. He goes, okay, cut. The guy goes, were you trying to fucking kill me? Like, what's going on? And he goes, well, I told him, he goes, I was drowned. Like, I had so much water in me. He's like, oh. So every time they would go on tour and tell that story, that guy would tell, like, did I tell you the time William Whitney almost killed me?
He did some of the first comic book movies,
Yeah,
Dick
Captain
Tracy,
Marvel.
yeah, Dick Tracy definitely, Lone Ranger.
And he did one that's on the list is Zorro, Zorro the Fighting Legion, and then
Yep.
also that Red Circle one. What's that one called?
Yeah,
But yeah.
he did the Crimson Ghost too, which is where the Misfits get their logo from.
Oh wow.
The Grim Reaper kind of guy from the band The Misfits.
Yeah.
So like he's just for those, and then he has this huge career of doing these westerns, and then like I said, at some point he gets reinvented for TV, so he's doing shows like Zorro, he's doing Lassie, but like Spy King, Frontier Doctor, Wagon Train. So like when all these shows, like 10 or 15 years after this first Western boom happens, the same person that made the first Western boom movies is now making the next ones.
Especially if you know, like, hey, let's put a fight in here. And that's a thing where I don't think, like, if you saw Darktown Strutters, excuse me,
it's great. Yeah,
it's good where it's not old. You're not going like, oh, he's you like they say about Hitchcock. Hitchcock did these other movies but he was still in the time of, like, now James Bond movies were out and everything, and people are going to see a Hitchcock movie that's done old school, and you're like, now we have espionage, like, let's do it this way. But it's the thing with this.
It's funny. Like, William Whitney was the assistant director on Marnie with Hitchcock.
Oh wow. Yeah.
The other person you were talking about, Sloan Nibley, who's the one of the screenwriters.
Yeah.
His brother Hugh Nibley is one of the most famous Mormon scholars.
Oh wow.
He was like a professor at Brigham Young, but he's like the guy who wrote a lot of the work supporting the claims of Joseph Smith, which is pretty wild that those two brothers went that way. He wrote a lot of books for how people should study the Book of Mormon and how it should impact their faith.
Wow.
So yeah, I wonder if they had anything to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing? I'm writing for movies. What are you doing?"
And Gerald Garagity is like almost all westerns. He even wrote the Gene Autry Rides, the Sunday comic strip for Gene Autry.
Wow,
right?
Yeah,
which is crazy. His whole family was in movies. His sister Carmelita was an actress, and his brother Maurice was a film director and producer. He did The Sword of Monte Cristo.
That's the thing. I think I don't know if I told you, but I'm reading this book called The Oral History of Hollywood. And in there, Frank Capra was like, he was going to school to be a chemical engineer. Then he goes to Hollywood because somebody says, hey, they're hiring for thing. And he makes more money than he's ever made. He hadn't even tried to do chemical engineering after he graduated, but he gets into Hollywood and he's like, well, shit, I think I'll stay here. If they're going to pay me this much money to do this stuff, like, yeah, I'll do that. And he stays there. But, it's weird that was his trajectory, was to go to, to do that.
It's really interesting that Republic, the studio, like, they made a lot of almost like how regional movies worked, where they were making movies for Americans that weren't really served by Hollywood all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, they made mostly feature-length westerns.
Yeah.
But then they also made small town and rural movies, like they called like their hillbilly movies with like Judy Canova, the Weavery brothers, and like that was like a big thing. Like, where there were studios that made what they called race movies at the time too. And it's like Hollywood wasn't making those movies. And originally they were licensing these really expensive comics when they first started. Like Lone Ranger was pretty expensive, and Dick Tracy, they were so
Yeah.
popular that. But then finally, like, why don't we just start making
Did they do
our own?
that? Did they do the Batman one or no?
No, they didn't do that
Okay.
one. They were making serials. This is what's crazy, all the way until 1955,
Yeah,
and
that's
a lot
what's
of them stayed in theaters till the 60s because people kept the prints. But
yeah.
like TV was well
Yeah.
in homes in 1955, and they're still making a King of the Carnivals their last one.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
And like
Um,
I've always said, I mean, it brought you into the movies, but remember, the only thing I can think of is, and you and I knew it because you're like, oh, the new Roger Rabbit cartoon is going to be at the beginning of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Then it's going to be in the beginning of Dick Tracy. And then it was in one other one. And I forget what the third movie was.
yeah, they only did
But
it, and I was so excited about this when
yeah,
they did them.
but you knew of that. But for a serial, that's more like, okay, Columbia has a serial, so it's on a Columbia movie. But how do you go like, I've seen part 1 and 2 and 3, and now I got to go see part 4. What movie do I have to see part 4? You know?
My mom said, I asked her about, because she went to
Mhm.
serials. She was born 48, so she was
Mhm.
right near the tail end.
Yeah.
But they would do matinees
My dad
where,
was too, born in 48, December
okay,
31st. Yeah.
so they would do matinees where it was every Saturday. It was 10
Mhm.
cents. You got to see a serial, a cartoon, an A feature, and a B feature. And
Wow.
so that's why, so they would do that every week at the same theater.
Yeah.
Because most towns only had one theater.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't like today where you'd be hunting to see that
Yeah.
film.
Yeah. And maybe they could just put it on like trailers. Like you can put a
Yeah.
trailer for a Disney movie on the front of a Warner Brothers movie.
And
And
a lot of the that's another thing that got reinvented. Like a lot of the Republic serials, once Batman got big in the early 60s, they went and they took all those old serials, this Captain Marvel one definitely, and put them together and made like a 2-hour TV movie version
yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And those ran, and some of them played theaters all over again.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to me how there's a so cyclical nature to films where, yeah, people may be tired of superhero movies for a couple of years, but they'll be back. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like
Well,
I don't
even
know if we'll ever have a cowboy craze. Like, there's even a third craze with the Italian ones coming out in the late
yeah.
60s, early 70s, where that's a whole other world of them in Peck and Paw and like the
Well,
neo
it's
Western.
it's like I told you that first of all, on that old Batman, it's really interesting. If you watch 89 Batman, you're like, oh, Vicky Vale. Then you
Yeah.
watch that serial and it's Vicky Vale is the
Yep.
main girl in there, and you're like, oh, that's awesome. But something that I need to do, except you got to buy each one, and I
Mm-hmm.
got to figure out, but I want to get those that I told you before, Santos. When I first saw a
Mm-hmm.
Santos movie, I was like, mind blowing. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this is so cool. But you know that nobody else would care about a Mexican, masked
Well,
wrestler who solves crimes and fights Dracula, and
there's a lot of similarity to the world of these singing cowboy movies as there is to lucha,
very true.
right?
Yeah.
Because the luchadors have to be able to have exciting wrestling scenes.
Yeah.
They have to be romantic with the wives. They have
A,
to be
a
or
quick
girlfriends.
plot that's,
Yeah.
and then
And there's
mixed throughout
generally
is
some,
fights and things. Yeah.
there might be like a singer that they're involved with. So there may be a music number in it. They're almost like a little more variety show, because we talk about us having a short attention span. Like the movies back then were like, we got to entertain you. We got to
Yeah.
give you songs and dance, and we got to keep stuff moving.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the lucha films feel like that. And the other thing that's wild about them is I don't know any other genre that shifts genres so much. Like
Mhm.
Santo and the She Wolves is nearly like an Italian Gothic in look and feel, versus like other ones. There's a couple that feel very Bonsploitation. And then there's a few of the 3 or 4 last Santo movies are almost kung fu movies
Well, and
with
then like the
Santo, but then there's monsters,
the
there's
haunted house
aliens.
one where the
Yeah.
monsters like all, yeah.
There's time Santo and Dracula's time travel. And like almost Santo becomes, for some of the movies, Batmania and Eurospy kind of go hand in hand, because especially with the Fumetti Negro, like diabolic ripoff kind of movies
Yeah.
that were coming out, like Super Argo and stuff. Like the spies are also superheroes, and it's very similar. And Santo fits into that, where I love in the beginning of that, like Santo goes to talk to all these scientists and he explains to them how he invented a time machine. And they're like, "You're just a dumb wrestler." And all the other scientists from Mexico are like, "No, he's Santo. Like, shut the fuck up." Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're like very upset about it because it's true. Like, and also even in the later Santo movies, Santo is always the most capable. Like the mummies of Guadalajara and those ones, the mummies are kicking every other luchador. That Santo just pulls up in his car and has a mini flamethrower in it, shoots the mummies, they die, and he goes goodbye. And it's like that's Santo, and it's just like. But I don't think we don't have. Roy Rogers honestly is the closest analog to Santo, like someone that crosses over. Plus, Roy Rogers, the difference is he has the Sons of the Pioneers, and they're putting out songs on the radio, and they're touring, and it's very Buckaroo Banzai, right? Where he had the Hong Kong Cavaliers, and he has like a band, plus he's this, plus he's that. Like, I'm fascinated by it. It's hard enough to have one career. How do you do all this stuff?
Well, and the thing of, as the Santos movies, like, you know, we had it where you and I talked about, I was telling the wife that you knew Stone Cold Steve Austin from Nash Bridges. Welcome to the Nash Bridges podcast. And it's that thing of like, we had movies where the wrestlers were in a movie and you went to see the movie because the wrestler was in it.
Hulk Hogan definitely tried it with No Holds Barred, Suburban Commando.
And all those others where then even like I was thinking about, remember 12 Rounds or whatever, John Cena tried to do these action movies and then realized
the Marine, he's in that one.
The Marine, and
it's interesting though, because none of these wrestlers, even Hogan, you could argue Rip, whatever his name is, Rip Savage or whatever, in No Holds Barred, he's playing himself. But Santo and Gene Autry and Roy Rogers are all playing themselves. Like, and there's almost no break between public and private persona, real life persona. And that's really interesting to me, that like that's this. So like when you saw Santo in Arena Mexico in the 50s, you were seeing the same guy that you went to the movies to see. And Santo was in like 80 some movies within 15 years.
And that back then it wasn't like, you know, I think it was on Graham Norton. It was one of the old Graham Nortons, but he's talking to Ryan Reynolds and he's like, "So are you really in the suit?" Ryan Reynolds like, "Oh my God, yes, I am." And everybody like laughs about it because it's like, yeah, right. You're not in the suit all the time. I think Santos had a certain body type that he had to be. He's in the suit when he's wrestling, when he's fighting on screen, when he's acting, like, you know, all of that.
Well, his chest is open. I mean, it's obviously, and the other thing that's amazing too is like Santo is such. He's still to this day considered one of the biggest cultural forces in Mexico, to the point that like when Encanto came out, like he's one of the characters whenever there's all people that are in heaven in it. Like Santo's one of the first people that they see. Like he's known. It's funny because like we're friends with in my mom's hometown, the restaurant they go to, we've become friends with the owners. And the one day I think I had on like some lucha shirt, and he's like, "Oh, I used to go to AAA shows when I was a teenager." He's like, "What luchas do you know?" And I was naming, you know, because I wrestled in lucha, and he was like, "You know Santo?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "He's a big deal." He's like, "Blue Demon's a big deal." And I'm like, "Oh, I know." Like, so he's like, "Not in this country. Nobody knows them in America. They only know Rey Mysterio." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, Santo Mil Mascarsi." He's like, "I touched Conan once." He's like, "I slapped him on the shoulder. He was huge." And I was like, "Wow, that's awesome." And it's like, but I think it's always funny whenever luchadors come here, people are like, "Oh, that's quaint. They're coming from Mexico." And it's not like when Sin Cara came here, it like wasn't a big deal. It's like, no, it is. Like Arena Mexico draws 17,000 people or more every Friday. Like sometimes in Mexico City, there could be 50 shows in 3 days every weekend. There's shows all week. Like Mexican wrestling is a big deal. And it's just funny that like when they come here, they're like, "Oh, it's just like this weird style." I'm like, no, it's like the reason why I still love lucha so much more than even American wrestling is it's such a weird passion play of like machismo and acrobatics. And it's like, I like when I watch American wrestling, something's fake, I get angry. And lucha, I am so forgiving because it's like a different art. It's like a violent interpretive dance. And even like in Santos movies, when he hits people, I'm like, yeah, that's not how you hit people, but I don't care.
Yeah, and it's the history of it. Although
Hmm.
I don't know, that there's more to it than with
Yeah.
Mexico, and then we adapted it and was like, oh, let's do.
Well, also like WWE owns AAA now, and
Mhm.
like Dr. Wagner Junior, his name's Junior, is
Yeah,
there, and it's like he has the same mask that his grandfather wore,
yeah,
and it's like that these legacies get passed on. And I know that there's legacy wrestlers now, but
yeah,
it's different that these guys have the same look, do
yeah.
the same moves, and this appreciation of history,
And
both in Mexico and Japan, is so much different.
well, and I haven't watched enough of Mexican wrestling, but it's the thing of remember when Hulk Hogan came back and he was
Hmm.
wrestling with the same moves, and you were like, the moves have advanced now. Like you
Oh
can't
yeah.
do the hand thing, you can't do what you were doing. Like nobody believes it anymore.
Mm-mm. I
Everything's
think
gotten faster.
yeah, and I think that there's been a hybridization of wrestling where a lot of, especially from getting videotapes from Mexico and Japan, where people watched it, they don't know the how to do the story and the feel of lucha, but
Oh,
they know how
right.
to do the moves.
Yeah.
Um, but it's still exciting. It's exciting to see that influence. Like when I first started doing it, doing lucha in the U.S.,
Mhm.
it was really looked down on, and I was like a small guy when I started. Now, when I retired, I was like one of the bigger guys.
Yeah.
And guys would be like, I don't understand all like the weird dives and rolls and stuff you're doing. And now it's like that's
Yeah. It's
it.
like,
Things have to progress, though. I
yeah.
think that's what's cool. As much as this is coming from me, who thinks there hasn't been a good horror movie since 1981.
Yeah.
But it's like I like seeing the progression and I like seeing the way people do stuff. But I also like looking back at stuff. Like this movie was fun to watch. I watched it a couple times while we've been doing the show, and
Yeah.
it's like what I like about. I have a Hot Boy and Cassidy disc that I watched all those for the site that someone sent to me to review, and
Uh-huh.
like all these movies are formula, right? Like
Yeah.
somebody is being
Yeah.
taken advantage of. The hero comes to town.
Yeah.
We don't even have to establish. That's what's
Wrong
kind of cool.
identity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have to even establish who Roy is at this point?
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
It's almost like where superhero like Fantastic Four didn't need an origin story. They just showed like glimpses of it because we know it well enough, right?
And as opposed to like in a movie where the guy and the girl meet
Yeah.
and she's kind of rough with him and he's like, I'm just trying to be nice. And they meet
Yeah.
later and they're still that way. This is a shorter runtime. So he
Hmm.
meets her. She's kind of like, give me all my shit. What are you doing trying to steal my stuff? And leaves. And then when he meets her again, Andy Devine's like, this is my friend Roy, or somebody's like, this is Roy. And she's like, oh, I'm very sorry. I was having a bad day. And it's
Yeah.
done. It's squat. Like, okay. Like,
I
yeah.
don't mind this runtime, a shorter runtime,
Yeah.
like
It's,
a 50, because like a lot of micro budget horror that's out now is like a 65-minute movie.
yeah.
You know what? Make a 45-minute movie and don't give me 20 minutes of credits.
Well, even as you've heard in the 60s and 70s, where they would go, the runtime, we need to pad it out because we
Hmm.
need this much to play in the theater.
Yeah.
And there are people who, and Corman was the same way of like, we could play it more in theaters. If we
Yep.
have a shorter runtime, we can play it 7 times a day, as opposed to, you put a 3 hour movie out and you can see Cleopatra twice in one day and that's it. So,
They had to try to get people to see Cleopatra as many times as they could
yeah.
to try to bring back the cost of it.
I'm listening to that TCM
Oh yeah,
podcast. Oh, so good.
that movie's astounding. Where it's like I love when movies that should be simple
Mhm.
balloon out of cost. Heaven's
Yeah.
Gate's another one where it's like they could have made that movie. I don't know what is in that movie. Like there's some beautiful crowd scenes and there's some
Yeah.
really cool stuff, but there's nothing in there that necessitates the budget that
Well,
it ended up being.
that and then that's the cross thing of for you liking these other kind of movies of the thing of like let's just put a movie out like the one with Veronica Lake with the maggots on the guy's face and they kept
Oh, Flesh
falling
Feast.
off. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they kept falling out and you're like, "Oh, motherfucker, they won't stay on." But it's the thing of sometimes it is if you're in a box and you have nothing to do, nothing to figure, you're like, oh wait, I can do this cheaper. But when you have all the money in the world, then you're like, oh well, we can make whatever we want. Like let's run with
I
it.
tell people all the time, it's like camera angles. outside of crazy stuff like drones and
Yeah.
cranes. You don't need crane shots anymore. You have drones, but
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Those are things cost money, but like Dutch angles don't cost you any more money.
Yeah.
Where you place the camera doesn't cost you money. Ideas don't cost you money. What costs money is like I'm costing out a movie right now, and like the budget is very frugal to say the least. Like it's not a lot of money. And the first script that I had was like, wow, there's a lot of effects in this.
Yeah.
Because the first one I just wrote was like, hey, this is just put everything into it, right?
Yeah.
So the next one, it's like, oh, okay, I can't have this many people. I can't have this many set changes. I need to keep things in one place.
Yeah.
And like, so when you start to realize this, when you watch micro budget horror, you're like, oh, well, that's how they did that. Like, that's why they did that. I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but not fall into the traps of some of the stuff that you see a lot of the time where it feels, it's like being cheap without being cheap. Like Night of the Living Dead is a cheap movie. It doesn't feel cheap.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like it feels like
or even
the money went a long way.
Or even like Salem's Lot with that kitchen scene of him coming up from the spot on the ground, and you're like, it's amazing. Like, do something like that, or like the simple stuff of like, how do we melt the witch in Wizard of Oz? Oh, she'll be on stairs. She'll just go down, and okay, and all that kind of stuff is amazing.
Like Carnival of Souls did not cost a lot of money.
Oh my God, yeah.
But it still works to this day.
Yeah.
Because it's otherworldly and it's like it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think if you would show that to someone younger, they'd never seen it. They're like, oh well, yeah, it's like Jacob's Ladder. I'm like, yeah, but this came out long before that. And this like sets the
Jacob's Ladder doesn't have, while she's driving, all of a sudden that guy appears in the window. Like fucking.
And it's also not as tight of a movie, and it had probably one day of filming on Jacob's Ladder equals the full budget for Carnival of Souls. So like that's the stuff I'm attracted to, because it's like, how do you solve the dilemmas of budget while still telling an idea? And even like some of these movies that ran out, like Messiah of Evil famously ran out of money. It was troubled at the end. The ending's put together in the editing room, and it works. Yeah. Like in spite of itself. So sometimes like you get this weird alchemy where stuff ends up working. And that's why I like movies, going back to the Roy Rogers thing, where it's like sometimes having that formula, like movies can be comforting, and movies like, that's why it drives me nuts when I read some reviews like AV Club or any of the film sites about Marvel movies where they're like, this doesn't break any new ground. I'm like, well, you know what, for some people, these movies are their warm blanket movies, right?
Yeah.
They want to see the characters that they know, and they want to enjoy them. And you know what? They said the same stuff about James Bond movies. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to watch all the same James Bond movies again, probably like once every few years. Like, they're very comfort food films to me. And you know what? They're not for everybody. Fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm sure that these were they were for both a younger audience and a rural audience.
Yeah.
This is something that they wanted to see. And that's kind of what regional horror eventually became, like Charles Pierce doing Town That Dreaded Sundown and Boggy Creek. He was making movies for people from Texarkana that wanted to see things that mattered to them with people whose faces they recognized that weren't Hollywood people. And by and large, I think a lot of these cowboy movies filled that in during this time, pre-TV.
Yeah. I think, you go, well, let's see something fun. Oh, let's go see that Roy Rogers movie. They're all the same. This is the one with the oh yeah, let's go see it.
That's it. Sometimes I don't want to go see something that's good. I know is going to depress me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's the thing of, first of all, the thing about seeing something, I was reading something, I shared it with the wife, because like I said, she always wants to watch, either she'll be like, stop trying to pick something, just put something on. So she has to put on Nash Bridges, or, puts on Seinfeld, or, whatever. And there was a thing where if you know what's coming, if you have anxiety, you don't have to worry because you're comfortable, because you know what's going to happen. And,
you know what you're getting, what you like from Roy Rogers, like, oh, a couple songs.
Yeah.
Some hints at romance.
Yeah. It's not going to be, it's nothing overly violent. Like my cousin and my dad will not watch like CSI or any of those kind of things, because my dad's like, why do I want to see this to reality? I want to see fantasy,
But it's also someone that's married to a true crime junkie.
Yeah.
I say that sometimes where I'm like, could we like watch something where it's like, there's like dramatic
lightness.
trauma.
Yeah.
Some like, can we
Yeah.
just like watch Cheers or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, to me, like that's the weird thing about the, and I do like some of their movies, so I'm not being one of those
Right.
old men scream at the cloud. Like a lot of the A24 and elevated horror of today, so much of it is based on um just the trauma that people go through. And I
Yeah.
get it. Like this is a rough time to be alive, to say the least.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes like I just want a dumb horror movie. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like I just
Yeah.
want like, or not even dumb. Like I don't think of Halloween as a
Well,
dumb movie, but also Halloween is very much a shut your brain off. Like let's just enjoy this movie and
exactly.
a slasher. Yeah.
Or like what would go with a Roy Rogers type of thing would be Assault on Precinct 13. You're in and
Yeah.
out 90 minutes or less. Like
Yeah.
it's great, it's action oriented, it goes quick. Um, Talking back to the making a movie, I think I told you this. I was scouting, I had written a script and I was like, oh, it's gonna take place downtown Glendale, and then they'll run across this thing and they'll go over here. And so I'm like, how do I find out about going to film this movie? And they go to town hall. And so I went to town hall, and then they were like, oh no, I go to zoning. Went to zoning. They were like, no, you have to go over here. So I go to the police station. Police station's like, no, you got to go to zoning. So I go to zoning, or whoever, not zoning, whoever it was, town hall thing. And they're like, oh, are you with that new Brett Michaels movie? And I'm like, and I should have said yeah, and fucking charged him a bunch and made the movie real quick before Brett
Yeah.
Michaels got there. And I was like, no, I said, I'm doing this independent thing and I've written it and here it is. And she goes, well, here's the thing. If you film downtown, we have to close all the shops. You have to pay each person. You have to pay then for the police for the barricades, the police to be there. And she's like, if you wrote it yourself, just rewrite it for like in the desert and wherever.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. So I just rewrote everything, put it in the desert, made it a lot easier. And on that is those things where there's a new movie called Lock or something with Anthony Hopkins in it, and he's like
Mm-hmm.
locked in a car, and they just film it in the car. Or like that movie
Yeah.
Lock, the other Lock, where it was just Tom Hardy in a car driving, talking to some people on the phone. Or Buried, which was Ryan Reynolds in the trunk, like trying to figure out what's going on. And those simple things where you're like, oh yeah, just do it in one room, do it whatever.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I get excited about stuff and I'm like, oh, it could be this, this, and this. And then I'm like, yeah, well, that's a couple $1,000,000.
Yeah.
So like how can you make the weird visions in your head happen? But like AI helps a bunch, but then you're like, oh, people would be pissed that I did AI animation for this. But it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly believe that if Bruno Mattei and like Herschel Gordon Lewis and these, my
Oh yeah.
kind of directors were alive today, 100% would be using AI
Yeah.
for stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Bruno Mattei outright just took footage from other movies and
Yeah.
didn't give a shit. Like, I don't think he would have an ethical problem with AI. He'd be like, yeah, fine, fuck
Yeah.
it, But anyways,
I did AI for my Dirty Dozen episode for the cover. And some guy wrote on Facebook like, ditch the AI because it didn't look like Lee Marvin. And I'm like, I know, but sometimes it works okay.
But do you want to like? Here's how I look at it. Like,
Yeah.
it's allowing you to have more time to do the more creative things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's like you're certainly doing more creative things. You're not skimping on things and you're not taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
You're using it for something that doesn't really need.
Yeah.
And you're making it your own.
And if you're a solo, like you or me, like you're doing it by yourself. And like, I don't have a arty person to do it. I don't have, so I just do it, myself.
I think that's the thing too, is like people don't realize, Bill and I talk about this a lot, is like a lot of times it's us doing our sites. Like like you said, there isn't a team, there aren't interns.
Yeah.
It's like the show is Bill editing all that stuff, me doing the goofy videos that I do. My site is me writing 4 or 5 movies a day. And it's like, you know what? I love when people get mad about stuff that I write. And I'm like, you realize like I don't make anything off this. Like I used to get all those emails from that one guy that called me a sellout because I got free movies. And I'm like, you know what? I watch every movie that gets sent to me. I do very objective reviews of them. And like, that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah, see that's a difference with you. Just to stop you there for a second, I was watching a YouTube video the other day. The guy was like, "Of 1820 or 1923, it's a movie. It's a show with Harrison Ford." Blah, blah. He goes, "I got this sent to me." He goes, "I have season 1. Am I gonna watch him?" Yeah, and like put it away. And I'm like, "Oh, he's not watching that," and that's counted as him reviewing it just to hold it up. Like,
yeah, because he'll just tell them
yeah,
that it was on his channel. Like, I got it, and I'm watching it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, you know what? Is it for me?
Same
Maybe
thing.
not.
Same thing with, there was a recent thing that came out. I don't think you're on their thing, but it was a surfing documentary. The
Uh-huh.
one YouTuber knew about it. He was like, "I watched it. It was really cool. It's kind of a, atmospheric thing. It's cool." The other guy was like, "I have no idea what this is, but here it is." He's just showing it. And you're like, "Well, watch it." I understand there's a lot of stuff. I have stacks of movies around here that Eric sent me. I still have to watch Rats that you sent me.
I think that's the thing, though, is like, even if you watch something, I know we don't have time is the one currency that we
Right.
can't make more up, but even if you watch something and you don't like it,
Right.
it allows you to build a peak and a valley for something. Like, I watched a movie today
I,
from Genre Blast, and I hated it. I hated it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch as much of this as I can, and it's like I have to have like an opinion of why I didn't like it,
mhm.
but also realizing that, hey, somebody did the work of putting this together.
Yeah.
And I think some people get so not transparent, so disposable about movies. We had someone on the show in our chat last week. It was like, I couldn't have made it through this movie if it wasn't for riff tracks. And I'm like, that's very insulting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's like,
it's like, yeah, it was like the first time I saw Mitchell, I still haven't seen the regular version, but I saw
mhm.
Mitchell, and so I always thought Joe Don Baker was to be laughed at. Then you
Yeah.
see other Joe Don Baker movies after that, and you're like, "Oh, this needs to get respect." And other people who say, "I love Mitchell without the riff tracks, like I love it
Yeah.
this way." And speaking of that, I was telling the wife this exact thing. I said, because Eric will send me the movies that he has in his, that he's like, "Oh, I pulled these off. I'm not going to watch them again. I'll send them to you. And then if I like them, I can, or if I want to send them on, I can send them to somebody." So I told the wife, I go, "Why I watch all these different movies is just like you, as a nurse, you got to learn about the whole body." I
Mm-hmm.
said, with movies, you got to know about all different movies. So then you know where the peaks and valleys. And she, of course, had to bring up Class of 1984. "Yeah, but you like Class of 1984. I
Oh,
said, "Yes, it's a great movie,
I like
But
the
yeah,
sequels too.
yeah.
I'm
See, I
gonna.
haven't seen those yet. Yeah, I
Oh,
need
well,
to.
it's got Pam Grier as a Terminator. I mean, how can you
Oh,
go wrong?
that's cool.
And
Yeah, and
also,
that,
like, I love, it's the only sequel I can think of that completely switches genres. It's
yeah,
like, like Class of 84 is like downbeat, urban.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very
yeah.
real. And the next one's
Yeah,
like, what if all the teachers had rocket
yeah,
launchers? And what if Stacy Keach had a rat tail? And like, what?
yeah,
What are
yeah.
we watching? It's great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, exceeding, like Dirty Harry 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he sent me a Program to Kill, which I said, "Oh, I'm gonna keep that one."
Yeah.
He sent me Double Target, which he was like, "You meant?" I go, "No, I fucking loved it. It's great."
Yeah.
And then the other one that I kept was, he sent me Striker, and Stone Cold,
Oh,
and I'm thinking of keeping Stone Cold, but I put it on my thing to send to Rob. I think I'll send it to him.
no. Stone Cold. Wait, Stone
Um,
Cold's great.
I know, but it was one of those. I was like, I saw it in the theater back in the day. I was like, "Oh, this was fun," and I watched it this time. I'm like, "That was fun." And then I go, and especially if you saw the 30-30 on him. Did you watch that on Brian
Oh, yeah.
Blausch's? Oh,
I read
good
his
deal.
book when it came out too.
Oh, wow.
I'm all into the Boz.
Yeah.
How
But
about, you know what? You could also keep Program to Kill in your Paul Walker collection. It's like a
yeah,
young Paul Walker
yeah.
role.
Well, and also, what was the other one that he sent?
Robert Ginty is
He
in it
sent,
too.
yeah, Robert Ginn. He sent, Blast Fighter, which I
Oh,
love. Like,
dude, that
amazing.
movie's great.
Yeah,
It's crazy because it was going to be a post-apocalyptic movie that Fulci was going to direct.
oh wow,
And because it was like that, and I think Warriors of 2072 were the two movies in the deal, and he was just like, screw it, I'm going to do Conquest. This is what kind of split up his writing partner and him. And like, they're like, we got to redo this. And it's so crazy that it went from that to being like, it was definitely Deliverance because it's in the same town and the
Yeah.
same kids in it.
yeah, that
It's
same
very much the first Rambo, not the second Rambo.
Yeah.
And then it's like oh, by the way, you could put any bullet you want in this gun. You could put balls
Yeah,
in it.
it's a
You could put,
Benelli, but they make
yeah.
it where it's not just a shotgun. It can shoot
I
rockets
love
and
that dude
sniper
tells me,
rifle.
in the next year, every cop will have one of these. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
well, it is America. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
like, it's, but it's wild. And the cover is great.
yeah.
Uh, it's just like, it is a movie that
It's
exceeds beyond its grasp.
and what is funny, me watching that, where you think like, I wonder whatever happened to the kid that played the banjo in the beginning of
Yeah.
Deliverance, and then you see
Yeah.
this kid in the shop, and you're like, that looks like the same kid, and you look it up, and you're like, holy shit, it is the same guy, but
Like
he's
that's
30
such
now.
an
Yeah,
amazing Italians in America movie thing to do,
yeah,
where like they're in this town, like let's get the kid from
yeah.
Deliverance
Can we
and
find
let's
that
just
kid?
hammer it home.
Yeah,
And yeah, and also they're like, you know what? Let's bring George Eastman in. And
yeah,
it's got so much to
yeah,
love in that movie.
yeah. And
Like,
then Hart when he like has a little baby deer, and
oh,
yeah,
it's it's
yeah,
so good.
so much fun.
I love that there's two cycles of Rambo exploitation. There's regular First Blood exploitation,
Which you
and then
got me
there's
into. Thunder is
Thunder
so
is
cool. Oh yeah.
Severn told me they cannot get the rights to it. They've been
Oh,
trying because it's
damn.
in the weird
Are
MCA
they all
limbo.
three owned by somebody else or
No,
something?
they're all
Oh,
owned by the same company. It's in the MCA library, and they said like, look, it's something that we want, something we know would sell, and they just don't care. They're
oh,
going to be like, yeah, why should we even find that? Get it? He's like, the licensing of it. He's like, I wish I could tell you that it wasn't. He's like, that's one I would definitely like to see out there. It's
yeah.
crazy because it played so many countries. Like I've been looking at, there's a great Thai movie poster website, Instagram that I go to, and they had all the Thunder posters there, and I'm like, man, the
Wow.
Italians cleared movies all over the world. Like they were super good at doing that, you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
Like,
even what's funny about movies like that, and those are more the actors in it, but the
mhm.
extra stuff on Psychomania was that guy being like, I thought this movie is horrible. I'm kind of amazed that we're talking about it now. Like, that main actor guy.
Yeah,
He's like,
Thai poster Bliss is the place to go to
okay.
find that, and like the posters are incredible there, and like a lot of them are like a little bit of the original, but then there's like a combination of some of their art. Third segment on the show this week. Well, I'll be showing some, but
Oh, cool.
there's a really great Abby one. Like, and
Oh, wow.
how did Abby get to Thailand? I love that. Like,
Yeah.
I always think like too, like where people look at stuff from other countries and they're like, wow, that's so foreign to us. That's so weird. Abby had to be like a crazy experience for someone that doesn't understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And also, like, there's a good chance that people that saw it in foreign countries may have known what The Exorcist was, but weren't able to connect the dots to Abby. So Abby is a unique in its own experience, much as
Well, it's like
my wife thinks Mario Brothers is the movie and not the game.
when I watch Jennifer, it's like Carrie, but totally different. It's
Mm-hmm.
way different. And then something that I was just thinking about when you said Abby was Anguish.
Mm-hmm.
Anguish is such a different, weird movie that I remember my friend goes, just go buy it. And I bought it and I
Yeah.
watched it. And I'm like, this is so like you're his POV, but then you're not. It's different. And then same thing when when I first saw that, I'm like, this starts out like a Happy Days. Like it reminds me of Happy Days, the way it's spent, like whatever.
Oh,
And then it becomes, so good.
it's really great because it's just so it just doesn't make sense, and it's
Yeah.
wonderful for that. Like,
Yeah.
and I that's what I love about movies like that, where it's just like when people are like, well, there's like a weird. People either say it doesn't make sense and it's too strange, or it looks too fake. And those are
Right.
two things that like cripple people in movies. And like
Yeah.
what you were saying, like how when you first got into stuff like Mitchell, and you didn't realize that that it was a straight movie.
Yeah.
Like the way I got into a lot of the movies I love was reading all the Golden Turkey Awards books
Mhm.
as a kid.
Yeah.
My uncle got all of them because he knew I loved these kind of movies. And like, especially like Golden Turkeys is like almost all the movies in there are like Zabriskie Point is in there. And I think that's a great movie. And it's like, there's a lot of stuff in there that's like, wow. Like there's some that I disagree with, but like those books really abused like Ed Wood. And it's like, yeah, Ed Wood's not the greatest technical filmmaker in the world, but he is a very brave filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he was doing something different.
Yeah.
And like
And he had a passion for it. Yeah.
yeah, and by taking away the agency and the power of movies and making them a joke because it's fun to laugh at stuff and punch down on it, then you're like, cool, then you're missing out on some magical moments. Like Swamp of the Ravens we played last week is a really weird movie.
Yeah.
It's like robot, like it's very strange. And like even Corpse Eaters we showed a couple weeks ago, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
But it has something to it. And it's like that's the kind of stuff like I want to see where it's like not boring. Even this movie today, like, oh, this is interesting. And like to try to think who was seeing this when and what was the circumstances and knowing like, hey, this is at the start of Roy Rogers being the biggest, like the number 10 box office star across all of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And Hollywood's a lot bigger star power wise at this time because it's the there's one form of media. This is like pre-TV. There's this and radio, you know?
And the thing of when these movies would come out that people, like I always say, like if you're a reviewer, you're going to see like 5 movies that day. And if you can't shut your brain off and know that, okay, I went and saw Body Double and now I'm going to see, you know, some grindhouse movie, I need to separate those. It's like I tell the wife about her big thing is The Departed, you get 5, Class of 1984, you get 4. I go, yeah, because it's a different kind of movie. And it's like you're talking about recently, I saw Terminal Island for the first time. And then Eric sent it to me on Blu-ray. And I'm like, oh my God, like so good. And those are those things where people, you can't compare every movie with Citizen Kane. You have to be, you know.
I think it's also what you like in a movie. And especially when it comes to reviewers, I think if you ever read, Tarantino talked about this a bunch in his book, like it felt like a lot of reviewers were upset that they had to go see grindhouse movies.
Yeah.
Like, and or horror movies. And even today it feels the same way. They're like, oh, why am I stuck watching this? It's like all the other ones. And it's like, you know what? Like, I never understand that. Like, you're getting to see free movies.
Yeah.
And you're like you're already like ghettoizing, and horror was even worse, you know, in the 70s and 80s. But you're like, by talking down on the genre it's within, well, what have you learned from it outside of you've already shut your brain off before it even begins?
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. Like, but also like, I know a couple film reviewers here, and I know like they're going to like a movie they would hate. Like they'd hate Terrifier. Like they would not find anything in it at all. Right.
Yeah.
They would hate the shitty Amityville movies that I watch. And like, I love them just because it's like, I love Tubi originals because they're so goofy and weird. And like, nobody's giving notes to anybody.
There's one that I heard about on a YouTube channel called Thicket with Julia, not Julia, what's her name? From Natural Born Killers, her and Peter Dinklage in it.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I
was like, oh, I need to check that out.
Steven Spielberg's daughter's first movie is a Tubi original now.
Oh wow!
Please Don't Feed the Children.
Oh, I remember you were talking about that. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I like the Tubi movies that feel like Lifetime movies on LSD. Like where it's like, it kind of starts like where it's like, oh, mom in trouble, single mom in trouble, what's going to happen? And then like they go off the rails in spectacular ways. Yeah. And that's what I want. There's, what's that movie that I watched? Hold on. Because I'm finishing up a festival. So it's like my brain is shot from Sugar Rot. Did you see that yet?
Which one?
Sugar Rot?
No.
Oh man. It's wild. So it's like about this 2 words. Okay. It's about a girl who sells ice cream. She gets assaulted by the guy who brings the ice cream, and he looks diseased. And her body slowly begins to turn into some confection, like a cross between cake and ice cream. And every man in her life just wants to eat her or lick her or taste her. And she's getting bigger and bigger, and she has something inside her, like a child, but it is made of food.
Wow.
It's wild. Like it's pretty intense. Like it's also one of those movies where it's like there's something to offend everybody in it, and it's not 100% great, but it's like it takes some like crazy turns and stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like there's one scene where she's sleeping with her boyfriend and she gets out of the bed and the whole bed looks like someone just rolled around in cupcakes.
Yeah.
And he's like licking the bed when she comes back, and he's like, I don't need you now, I'm fine. And it's like, okay, like I get it, like some of the metaphors and stuff that are
Well,
heavy handed, but also that's a wild idea. I like that idea.
yeah, those are things that I get excited about. Like recently, I think back in the day I saw Angel 1 and 2, but Eric
Uh huh.
sent me Angel 3. And he goes, "They're
Yeah.
not very good, but you can watch it." And I put it on this morning and I was watching it and I loved how she went up to kill the guy, spoiler alert, who's up on the thing. She has
Yeah.
the revolver. They're trying to get the guy's attention. Walks up with the revolver, pulls the trigger, and she's out of bullets. She went all the way up there, and you're thinking, oh, she's going to shoot the guy. And she shoots and she's out of bullets. And I'm like, oh, that I didn't see that coming. And then throws
No.
a hook in his back and it sticks in him. And he,
You've seen
and,
Savage Streets, right? I mean, that's another like
no, I haven't. I need to.
oh my
Linda
god.
Blair, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very much an Angel type. There's also Angel 4 uh
Oh, wow.
undercover. Uh it was going to be a TV spinoff, but it was a failed pilot, went direct to video. It's got a different Angel, Darlene Vogel. It's not
Wow.
good, but you
Yeah.
got to see it once you're in it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think Angel 1 and 2 are unstoppable. And like
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I was like, I hated the small town I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, do you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel
Yeah.
like I belonged. And I'm like, is my destiny to be a streetwalker? And then I realized like, no, I'm a fat kid with glasses. Like nobody, there's nobody
Yeah.
that wants
Yeah.
me. Like
You're more,
Angel is a beautiful
yeah.
girl. Like whether it's we're talking the Betsy Russell or,
Yeah.
the Donna Wilkes, probably, I don't know. It's hard. Do I have to pick an angel? No,
Yeah.
I
No,
don't.
you don't. That's
You
like
don't.
the, what was that other movie? I did it on, uh, 42nd Street Forever on their podcast.
Mm.
It was one of those where the girl is at home and she hears her car alarm go off because somebody's breaking into her car and she puts on her
Yeah.
tennis shoes, runs down to kick their ass. What was that movie? Started with an A. Anyway, that was a cool, fun one. But yeah, Angel 3, I was like, no, I'm gonna put it on the stack to go sell and buy something else.
Yeah, but the first two you got to keep.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I need to go find those.
it just even because Susan Tyrell's and that's the other thing too is like once you get rid of like the Rory Calhoun and Susan Tyrell and like the family that she has, like that's the fun of Angel to me, that she's built this
And that in this
support
third
system.
one, Mark Blankenship was in it, and he was
Mhm.
in like the other one, like and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my old friend," and you're like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, I don't think we're. God, I sound so silly. But we're not going to have movies like that anymore. Where it's like it feels like that's the kind of movie. Maybe it was like this for you too in school, like where you would hear kids talking about it on the playground. Like, oh, I watched it. My parents went to sleep early, and I snuck down and watched Angel. And they like told you this, like what it was. And you're like, fuck, what is that? That movie sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like and it's very much like I was 12 when it came out, so it very much feels like a forbidden movie. Streets is another one with what's her name from Married with Children. Like that one, people talked about it and they're like, oh, like that's gonna be like it's so dirty. And I'm like, it's not. Bolero, same way. Like people talked up these movies and you would hear these legends of these movies. And then when you finally saw it, you're like, this is in no way what they promised.
Or
like,
on the opposite, you see the pictorial from Tarzan,
Tarzan the Ape Man,
and you're just like, oh, okay, I can see Bo Derek naked. Okay, I don't think I need to see the movie. I'm good.
Well, it's funny because when Bolero came out, they were at war with Canon, and she's like, Canon stole the publicity pictures for the movie, and I'm like, well, why they didn't steal them? Like, the publicity pictures are for the movie that Canon's putting out. So then, like John Derek, super scumbag, went and sold the pictures to Playboy before Bolero came out. So again, why would anybody need to go see Bolero when you can see the pictures in Playboy? That's all the only reason to go see. Nobody's going to see that movie for George Kennedy, but nobody else. I found out today that there's a religious documentary about the end of the world that George Kennedy narrated. And
wow.
I'm like, holy shit. And he talks about the world's going to end in like 2003. and like the computer proved it to be true. I'm like, I gotta find this movie.
Did you buy any of his books? I've been wanting to get his books so I can just have them on the shelf, like written by George Kennedy.
I think this is what I want to use AI for. Is I want to take all those hardworking actors, like Donald Pleasance, George Kennedy, John Carradine, and make like a Dirty Dozen kind of movie with them, where they're the dudes that like. If the guy made the Corpse Eaters, whole goal was to get John Carradine in it, and he didn't have enough money. Yeah. I'm like, I don't think that phrase existed. I think if you said, it's like now, like if I said, and I don't want to use this power for evil, if I say, boy, I'd like Eric Roberts to be in this movie that I'm working on, Eric Roberts would hear it somehow on the winds, and he'd be like, oh, a movie for me to be in? Richard Grieco, same way. There's like a class of Vernon Wells, a class of these actors, and John Carradine was in that class.
Well, even I don't know if you finished your King of Queens, but Eric Roberts shows up on King of Queens in the paintball episode, and you're like, "This is awesome," you know.
It's like you're the fucking guy from Star 80. If anybody needs Tarantino to take a look at them and be like, "Please put me in a movie," I love that. Like Travolta got that treatment from him, and Travolta somehow managed himself right back to where he was.
Yeah,
like that movie, The Fanatic.
Yeah,
dude, that movie's. I should love that movie. My brother went to the premiere of it because last 2 years ago at Toronto Fan Fest, he just got back from it this weekend. But 2 years ago when they did it, Travolta came to Fan Fest and played it. And he was there live. So they went to watch it. And the file ran out before the end of the movie, and they had to download a new file. And he said it was real awkward. Like Travolta was doing like Q&A, and people were like asking, why did you make this movie? This is horrible. Moosey.
That happened.
But like Michael Madsen's another one that was like, by the end of his career, he was just like, I'll do as many of these streaming movies as you got. Like, I'm totally cool with just being in them. Bruce Willis did too, so he could have money for now, you know, where he's in the shape he's in.
That's what I was going to say too, where I think it's good. Like Poker Face, I still haven't finished this second season, but it'll have like all of a sudden Abby Hoffman shows up, and I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? That was the last episode we watched. And I'm looking up and I go, honey, that's a fucking girl from Uncle Buck. And she goes, oh yeah, I can see it now. And those are the things you and I watch in Columbo, and Robert Culp shows up, and you're like, okay, I'm in. Like, okay, every episode of Robert Culp. Or one of my favorite newer Columbos was the guy from 9 to 5.
Dabney Coleman.
Yeah, Dabney Coleman show. And you're like, oh, he's a killer. This
Jack
is
Flack.
Awesome. Yeah. Like, oh. But and now that they're doing that, but those are those things, those older actors that you're just like, oh cool.
Murder She Well, I do Murder She Wrote every week on the site, and it's like some of those Murder She Wrote episodes, like I get so jazzed up because it's like it's like it's pretty much the same cast that would be an Italian movie.
Yeah, well, you got Bryan Cranston, you got Linda Hamilton, like in the same episode, and you know. And then you got the one that's coming Warriors, and you got Bill Maher in that one. That's a pretty good one.
The Murder She Wrote that's coming up this week is season 2, episode 9. Let me tell you who's in it. This cast is like it's the Jessica Behind Bars episode where Jessica gets held captive in a jail. First off, John Llewellyn Moxley directed it, who's like the king of TV movies. He did The Night Stalker, The Night Strangler, and City of the Dead, which is great. This episode's got a Sam Dreamcast. You got beyond, of course, Angela Lansbury, but Margaret Avery, Adrienne Barbeau, Yvonne DiCarlo, Vera Miles, Susan Olivier, Eve Plum, and Mary Warnoff. It is like, did I cast this? Like, because I was seeing all these people, and I'm like, and Mary Warnoff? I'm like, oh my god,
Is that the one where the other girl does something wrong and Jessica gets arrested for it, and it's actually
no, Jessica's like touring a prison to get what do you call it? It's always like this is the Jessica thing where she's like, I need to do research for my book. And of course, like Jessica's always at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's what happens here, and they lock it down and she's stuck.
I liked how on that episode of Poker Face, they kind of touched on the thing everybody says, like Angela Lansbury's always like she must be the killer because she's always. They kind of made that joke.
But, I have a script. I'll tell you about it once. Not on the air because I don't want to give it away, but it's very similar to that. And I'm like, very excited about it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
not like who's
and
going to be listening to it?
and
Like someone
that's
would be like, oh, I take it.
and that's the thing
AC
where
Nicholas will steal it. That's what will
yeah,
happen.
exactly. That's the thing where you and I said about Angela Lansbury, where Bryan Cranston said that when he's on there, she would be like, "Look, no offense to you as an actor, but
Mhm.
I have a hard out at 5 to go have dinner with the family, so you're gonna
Yeah.
have to act to nothing or to somebody else."
Mhm.
And he's like, "Okay, like you understood it. It wasn't her being pompous."
Bronson's the same.
Yeah,
Bronson told
yeah,
everybody he's like he would get pissed if they weren't doing a shoot. He would be like, "Let's get moving," and
yeah,
then 5 o'clock done. But you
yeah,
know what? He had Jill Ireland. If
yeah,
I,
yeah,
you know what I mean? If Jill
exactly.
Ireland's your wife, you don't want to be sitting on a set with a bunch
Yeah,
of union dudes. You want to be
yeah,
home with Jill Ireland. I get it. Bronson was smart.
yeah,
He
yeah.
did it.
something
Anyways,
something and then we'll get to the questions.
yeah,
Psychomania, what was funny was they said they had to pay George Sanders all the money. So he
yeah.
goes, I remember they were like, you're gonna have director's chair, not gonna have your name on the back of it. And then they go, George Sanders shows up because they're trying to save that money to go here. He goes, then they give George Sanders his chair, and it was like handwritten or painted by somebody,
Oh yeah.
George Sanders. And they were like, oh, poor guy.
Though I have heard there are some actors that would let people have their trailer, and
yeah, yeah.
like there are some good folks.
Yeah, there's
And
the
I
good
like it.
ones, or there's the ones like Will Smith. I think it was I Am Legend, who had like a double decker bus that he worked out on, and and you're like, come on, really? Like, come on.
He lives in a different world than
Um,
us now, though.
exactly. So in this movie, did you see anything you think Tarantino might have liked or used in a film? Like I said, all the fights and
Yeah,
some of it, like even on that stagecoach at the end, Roy Rogers like looks like he's up there and he's jumping on maybe the first horse or the second horse, and you're like, holy shit, like this, it's
I
not
think
Yakima Canutt.
Will Whitney said that he would set up his fight scenes in the same way that they did dance scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would choreograph a lot of that stuff out,
Yeah,
and I think while obviously Tarantino's movies are a lot more violent,
yeah,
the when violence happens and fight scenes happen, I think he's doing the same setting up and leading you to that,
yeah,
especially in Kill Bill. So I think it's just the influence of the director, who he cites all the time as
yeah,
like the action director to him,
yeah.
and what a big deal he is to him.
Yeah, this was the third William Whitney movie I saw. The first one I saw another Roy Rogers one that was pretty good. It had a really good fight in it. Well, I saw Darktown Strutters first, then I saw the Roy Rogers, then I saw this one. And that's that thing where it's that old school stuff where nobody else would maybe like these Roy Rogers movies, but you and I are like, yeah, I love them. They're fun. They're good.
I mean, there's a Gunsmoke channel on
Mm-hmm.
Tubi
Yeah.
or not Tubi,
Pluto.
on
Yeah.
Pluto.
Yeah.
That's every night when my wife goes to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tuck her in. I'm like, "What do you want me to put on for you?" And she's like, "Put on the Pluto." And like
Yeah.
it's always
Yeah.
Pluto's a godsend. Like it is like the last bastion of what feels like real TV
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
with all the streaming we have, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, that's kind of cool. But also, like, I could never dream of a world where there was an Unsolved Mysteries channel
Yeah.
that's all they
Yeah.
played.
And
Like,
where it's curated, we're like, okay, we're
mhm.
gonna play Mission Impossible 1 and 2, maybe 3, or what was it I watched the other day? They played something and then led right into
Yeah,
something, and
that's
you're
what's
like,
nice though. Is like it's kind of nice to be surprised by. That's why I like doing the show because it's like, and I always say just pick something for me because like
yeah,
I figure out everything I'm watching so far in advance. It's nice
yeah.
to
Well,
not
and
be
that's
sure what you're.
that's what I like with the randomizer. I'm just like, boom, because people last season, I used to be like, what movie do you want? And people always grab the main ones. Oh, let's do, blah blah blah. And so with the randomizer, it's a lot better. Um,
Yeah.
but our rating system here is 1 to 5, 5 being the best. I rate this movie 3 out of 5. It's better than average. Had some good stuff in it. Good
Mhm.
singing. That guy was funny. The bad guy too. I don't know if you watched the parts or if you just had it playing with sound off, but the bad guy yells at the one guy for fucking up because he shot at Gypsy. And Gypsy gets when he gets shot in the arm and he falls down and he's like, "Oh, I'm dying. I need to see that girl." And the girl's like, "Okay." But it is that thing where he's got her pictures plastered all over. And his girlfriend is like, "What the fuck is this? I'm tearing it down." He goes, "No, you don't understand." And I'm like, dude, like, come on, like, what are you doing? But
It's funny. That feels like such a teenage thing because when I was a kid,
that's
I
what I
had
was thinking.
Betty
Yeah,
Page pictures everywhere, and like I was dating a girl. I'm
yeah,
like, God, like I would never do that to my wife
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. But there was that. But then then the main bad guy's yelling at the underling for like, oh, you fucked it up. You didn't kill him. You only grazed him. And so then he goes, well, do you want later on when they're going to go do it now? The guy goes, do you want me to go? And he goes, no, like you stay here. If I want to mess it up, I'll mess it up myself and just leaves the guy there. And I'm like, oh, that's great. So yeah, I gave rate it 3 out of 5. So
Yeah, that's a good rating for this, I think.
yeah. Would you buy this movie, rent it, or find it for free? If it was a better quality, like you said, that Tubi and even on YouTube, it had the same kind of bad quality. So maybe on a DVD you could find it, but that's the thing that we talked about. Also, you and I've talked about it with with oh, what's that called? With uh
Tubi
no,
or
with the show what's that show called? The vampire one. Um ah, the vampire TV show from England, um, with the starts with D, and and
hmm.
what's the name remade it? Um, damn it, what's it called? Dark. You wanted to get it. You wanted to get the coffin
Oh,
set.
Dark Shadows. It's
Dark
not British though.
Shadows. Thank you.
It's American.
I was thinking British because
Yeah.
of, I guess, because of the main guy. But yes, sorry. Dark Shadows, of that, of like, luckily somebody saved these, because that would just be, let's just tape over that
Yeah.
tape and we'll just do it. And that's how this is. I could see people just being like, who's gonna,
I think
like,
if I could get a box set of these
yeah,
and they were in good quality and I could kind of like have like because I almost bought like I saw a really cool Three Stooges set and yeah I've seen all
mhm,
of them but I'm like that's why I have like the Abbott and Costello sets that are out
yeah, yeah.
and
I
like
have, with my Universal set of all the Universal movie, it's got all the, Abbott Costello, meet Frankenstein, meet Dracula, meet
those Universal monster sets are really nice like the
yeah,
ones that they did for each monster
yeah,
and like I that's the kind of stuff I like getting
yeah,
because it's something you can put on and like almost like you said curate a day for yourself
yeah, yeah.
to
And it's
have
got it all by years. At one point I was like, I'll watch all the Dracula movies, and then I go, no, maybe I'll go through, because it's diminishing returns as you go through, like the Invisible Man, and all those. But yeah, and same thing when I got this Friday 13th thing, where I'm like, okay, maybe I won't rewatch right away 1 and 2, but I'll go ahead and put on 3, 4, because I've seen 1 and 2 more than the others.
Well, I think it's nice to have Friday the 13th too, because like they've removed like the art on the streaming ones and they've
Yeah,
changed around some of the stuff. So it's like that's definitely a series where you can say, oh, well, this is good to have.
yeah,
Uh, and that feels like, especially if you're a horror fan, that's something that you want to have
yeah.
saved.
And yeah, and then it's got that on the front. But yeah, it's got all of these. But anyway, it's yeah. So not only does it have the other one, then it has, Freddy versus Jason, Jason Goes Out, Jason
Oh,
X,
well, mine doesn't have that. So that's good to have
and then
on.
it's got the new Friday the 13th. So
Oh,
the
wow. Mine
2009
has, it's like the everything except for Jason X. And
and Freddy
and it
versus
has like
Jason.
almost like paper sleeves in it, and it has like 3D glasses for three. Like three actually has the thing.
That's cool. I just dumped it all out on my dogs. Um, yeah, that's yeah, and then like you said, each one's got the, you know, got the cool, poster art. So anyway, sorry about that. Hang on.
Oh no, good.
Driving myself nuts trying to get this put away right. And then it's got number one, and then the director's cut of one. You
Oh,
can
see,
watch either one.
that's totally worth it.
Yeah. So you get two of the first one. But anyway, okay, so yeah, I would get that too if there was like a set. It's just like, and talking about Three Stooges, I'm reading a Three Stooges scrapbook right now. I have the audio of it, the audiobook. And
Mhm.
it's really good because it goes through each person's thing individually. Ted Healy, blah blah blah, and then it goes through how that when they got together, and then all their merch. Like there's a whole paragraph
Oh,
on like merch, and I'm like, this would be better to see in a book than the audio book of like. And then there was this. Um, but anyway,
the crazy thing is they had a brother. One of their brothers lived in Pittsburgh, so they came here pretty often.
oh
Uh,
wow,
they also like did a lot of like Kennywood's like our big theme park,
mm-hmm.
and they would come here a lot to Kennywood and do openings and stuff. So it's pretty wild. Um, the guy who does Survivor, what's the host of Survivor?
Yeah, I can't think.
Jeff Probst.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when he was in college, he actually interviewed Mo when Mo lived in a rest home.
Oh
And they
wow,
played
yeah.
the tapes of it on Howard Stern before. It's really incredible to hear it.
Yeah, they were talking about how Larry got interviewed a couple times, and he would do shows at he would perform at his retirement home.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really cool, and yeah, makes me want to get that set. I was looking at the Blu-ray set or whatever.
Yeah, it just is neat.
Um,
And then I think it's something that connects me. Not my dad's gone. Like my dad had like an overwhelming love for the Three Stooges, like most
yeah,
dads do
yeah,
of
yeah,
that time. But it's something that kind of connected us. And it's just like, I just think that's so cool.
yeah,
That
yeah,
that I can own all of those and have. It was like when they first came out on VHS, that was like a thing that he had to have.
yeah, yeah.
Speaking of things I have to have, Vice Academy 1 through 6 is on sale in Vinegar Syndrome right now. They just brought it back out as a surprise, and I'm like,
Oh
oh,
wow, yeah.
I'm like, do I need that? Yeah,
I need
and
to. I
like,
don't think I've seen any of those.
oh my
Vice
god,
again. I need to
they're
write that
not
down.
good, right? But
Yeah.
they're great. They're great. It's also I have a big crush on the girl who was in the Alienator. I don't know if you've ever seen the Alienator, the big
Sounds
muscular girl
sounds
from the
familiar, but
Alienator.
not
Yeah,
not China.
no, no,
Right,
she's all right.
right. Yeah,
But
yeah.
Tegan Clive, she's also in Obsession: A Taste for Fear, which is one of my favorite
See,
late '80s jolly, and it's pretty great.
see, here's the thing, and I think it's because you write everything down. You write these blogs. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how when I watch some of your movies on your YouTube
Uh
channel
huh.
that I go, okay, and then I have to tell you and Bill the one where they were on the island and they stole the person's money that was just going to live in this thing, and you guys are like, I don't know, and I'm like, but you do know, but I'm just bad at explaining it. But I'm like, how do they remember like that? And how do
Because you
you
have
know?
important
Oh,
things to remember, Phil, and these are
right,
the things like you
right,
have to remember like important essential things, and all I care about is like Mexican
but
grindhouse
but
cinema.
where I feel that I've gotten worse is when I can't think of Dark Shadows, or I can't think of I don't know, somebody when I'm trying to talk,
I'm happy to
I
have the recall that I have,
yeah,
but I think it's also like as a kid, like I constantly drilled myself on this stuff, and
yeah,
like because like I there's like a weird like especially if you're like a horror kid growing up like this competition to know this stuff and remember it,
yeah.
and like I don't know, like
Well,
it's not for
and
it's and but I'm not proud of it.
and because of the show that you and Bill were on, and I
Mhm.
was talking about Andrew Robinson, I couldn't think of his name, and you guys were like, "Who this that?" And I'm like, "No, Andrew Robinson." And so now my buddy made me remember. Like Eric was like, "Andrew," then he goes, "I should have popped in with the name he's trying to remember is Andrew
Yeah,
Robinson." So now I always remember that.
you
But
need
the other day, I was talking about some old show, and I remembered like this name and that. I could name off Burns and Allen. I can name off, Molten Burl, like all those things. But sometimes if I am live and I'm like, that guy, from the,
it's hard though
Milton
because
Berle.
like
Yeah.
it happens to me sometimes too, and it's like I take really good notes before shows,
Mhm.
and then but yeah, I tend to remember too much stuff.
Well, and then
Um,
there are people that learn audible. There's people that learn by writing it down, or people that have
yeah,
to see it. And so, maybe I need to write more things down. Um,
yeah,
you want to hear Phil's film favorite of the week?
sure.
The setup from 1949, the tagline, I want a man, not a human punching bag.
Ooh.
The plot: expecting the usual loss, a manager takes bribes from a betting gangster without telling his fighter. So I give this 4 stars. I don't know if you've seen it.
Ooh.
Robert
No.
Ryan, and directed by Robert Weiss.
Mm.
And it's another short one. It's like an hour and 15 minutes or something, and it's kind of done
Yeah.
in real time. And Robert Ryan's the boxer, and basically his manager's like, okay, yeah, give me some money, we'll take $50 and we'll make him lose the fight. And he's like, okay, and he thinks he's going to lose anyway. And he just happens, it's like a really good fight, like goes for 3 or 4 rounds of just like a lot of like quick hits. And then all of a sudden it's over and he wins, and it's like, oh shit, you weren't supposed to win. The manager's like, I'm out of here. And it's really cool.
Oh man.
There's more to it than that, but it's really good. I'm doing that on Shaping Scorsese coming up on Sunday. Have you watched anything recently other than, or is it, we should go see Sugar Rot, we should see Savage Streets and Vice Academy 1 through 6?
Oh, the movie I really liked the last couple weeks I watched was a 1997 movie called The Sore Losers, 16 millimeter movie shot in Memphis. It's about space hippies, or not space hippies, space hot rod delinquents that come to Earth to kill hippies, and they're only allowed to kill 10 each.
Oh, wow.
Um, it's wild. It's like very Herschel Gordon Lewis, but very rockabilly, and it has a scene where 2 girls fight nude on an electric chair that is sparking the whole time. So it really, and the band Guitar Wolf from Wild Zero is in it as the bad guys.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so it's wild. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, and it's kind of like sometimes I watch a movie, I'm like, oh, well, this is made. I am specifically the person
Yeah.
who this is for. Very much so. Yeah, it really hit everything that I like about movies.
And
So
that's the thing of the history of cinema too. The Herschel Gordon Lewis, like you should see all of those, or at least some of
yeah,
them. I remember Criterion Channel had them all, had a lot of them on there, and I think the one I love most was 2000 Maniacs.
that's my favorite is
Yeah,
2000
yeah,
Maniacs.
I
I love
really
it.
like that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, especially if it's done like that, where you can also see, like, I see the influence of this or that.
There's definitely Herschel Gordon Lewis influence. There's a bit of the same director did a movie called Damn Salvis, Son of Helvis, which is really good too.
Mhm.
He's like from the 8 and 16 millimeter and shot on video era, but his stuff's really good.
Did
And it's
you
fun.
Did you see that movie AC Nicholas mentioned about the girl that just comes out of the woods and she's like bloody, and she's got this backpack and it's the head of what attacked her? So it's
Oh
like
no.
it's a reverse of a slasher. His friend made it. It's really cool because it would be like if at the end of Friday the 13th she just showed up with like Mike
Mm,
Myers' head, or I mean, Jason's head in a bag,
yeah.
and people were like, "Yeah, right," and she could show the head and be like, "This is what killed me. This is what
Oh
killed
man.
everybody." And it's really neat. I can't think of the name of it, but I'll
Uh,
send you a text and I'll figure it out for everybody else for the show
if
notes.
you're looking to buy movies, not that
Mhm.
I'm turning this into the Vinegar Syndrome show, but
Yeah. All
uh,
right.
Five Dead in a Crimson Canvas is out, shot on video. Beatnik Jalo from the 90s. Uh, it's wild. And my first Vinegar Syndrome commentary on it. It's
Oh,
the Gauser, which is a Vinegar Syndrome label. But I did a 5 minute visual essay. Is this called Is It Jalo? And arguing whether or not this movie is. And it gets into a lot of the my jam, which is mid 80s to 90s Jolly that are often called erotic thrillers, but are really Jala. So
yeah.
fun to work on, and it came together really quick. So
That's cool.
that was a cool project. And then I had another movie premiere in Kansas, Song of the Sword, which is another shot on video film, and it is a shot on video sword and sorcery movie.
Oh,
What?
wow.
So I got to do the intro live for it, and the team that put together the new version of it, the 4K upscale, sent me a DVD of the new version and my intro with the audience, and they
Oh,
got a lot of
wow.
the jokes, so it made me really happy.
That's cool.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of Kansas jokes in it because it's shot in Kansas. So I was really excited about that. Yeah. So yeah, starting to get hey, if you want me to talk on your podcast or talk over your movie, I'm here to do it.
There you go.
I love doing this kind of stuff. That's why I really enjoyed being on the show again, like always.
Yeah, again, I'm sorry that I was like,
Oh,
hey, are we still on for
I'm
tonight?
glad
And
you
were
did,
like,
and it worked out. It totally worked
yeah,
out fine.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
need sleep. So
yeah,
it's good.
yeah. Well, you'll get sleep later. And also now you can stay up maybe and then be ready for Saturday. When you have
That's the thing is like I say to myself all the time, like I got to keep in this because like when we do the show, it starts at 8 and we usually finish like at 3 or
yeah,
4. And I always think like that's like 8 hours. Like it's a lot of commitment. But on the other hand, like it's like the most fun that you can have. Like I
yeah,
love when we talk about ads, and I love that I don't know anywhere else or any other crew of folks where like we can, and plus like, Bill's like my best friend. So it's like nice
yeah,
to have somebody to spend that much time with somebody, even though we're not together.
yeah.
That's why the drive-in's coming up at the end of the month. And, man, I'm so excited, especially because Scum of the Earth, aka Port White Trash 2, the Grindhouse releasing
Oh, they're gonna bring
new
their
version of
that's
it. That's a
cool.
premiere. Yeah. And then the last movie is Eaten Alive, which is a movie that
Oh,
I
cool.
love. And that's going to go on about 4 in the morning on
Oh,
Saturday night.
wow. Yeah.
And it's going to be awesome. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really
that'll be
excited.
special. And it's like I said, with you guys seeing Star Crash for the first time on a big screen where you were
Oh,
like, and then
Devil's
walk,
Reign's
and then,
Devil's Reign's such a big deal for me to see like that.
yeah. And then walking by and hearing everything playing
Oh,
from the cars, like, yeah.
and I know Star Crash word for word, so like it was like really intense because I saw Star Crash. That's one of the first movies, Italian movies I ever saw, and I also saw it for the first time at the Spotlight 88 drive-in with that and Battle Beyond the Stars together.
Oh,
A
nice.
great double feature.
I just got
Um,
sent Battle Beyond the Stars, which
oh,
I've seen, but I'm gonna rewatch. And I have Eaten Alive. I have that special whatever
oh,
Blu-ray. It's pretty cool.
Starlight Swamp.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
I really. Why did I never buy the Sybil Danning action figure version of Battle Beyond the Stars? What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like I knew it was out. Like what did I? What am I doing?
Yeah, yeah. It's you know what was funny on my Howling 2 on the extra stuff for that, where she's like, they kept showing me rip my shirt off. And I
Mm.
said, whoa, whoa, 17 times is enough. Like whatever they argued about
And the
finally
how?
was like
Yeah.
17 times. Okay, that's okay. And they were like, okay,
You know
because at
what?
the end it does that music. Yeah.
Oh,
So good.
that song is great too.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah. It just works. It all works so perfect.
by all rights, you should be like Howling 2 is a horrible movie, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
It's
love it for what it is because it's so junky, but so what?
and she even said on there, she's like, I'd love to come back as that
Oh,
same. And it's like, we'll bring her back for Halloween. I mean, Howling 78, whatever. I don't know.
I'll watch all the Howlings.
Yeah.
I'm doing I think that's in December. I'm gonna do at least a week. It'll probably end up being a month of just like sequels that didn't have to happen.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like kind of like the last time I did this, I watched every Fast and Furious up to that point in the same day. I don't advise doing that.
Yeah.
Your
Oh my
brain
God.
turns into
All
jelly
in one
because you're
day. Yeah.
all in one day. Like literally, Becca was on vacation. Like
Yeah.
she went out to Seattle, and I was like, I'm going to try to just stay up
Yeah.
and watch every Fast
Uh,
and Furious. I took like an hour nap in between a couple of them, and then would
yeah.
get back up. So I'm like, I should have done it for charity and
Yeah.
live streamed it. And then gradually, I would start looking more like Vin Diesel by
But
the end
as
of it.
it goes, then they get crazy. Now you're like, okay,
It
now we're
turns
into
into GI
crazy
Joe.
fun. Yeah. Yeah.
They become the Joe team.
Yeah.
Like
When
they're
they
going
go,
to
yeah, when they
space.
go to space in a Fiero, you're like, okay. Yeah.
But okay,
Yeah.
I
Um,
guess
so speaking of G.I. Joe, did you watch Transformers Rise of the Beast?
I have not. But my mother-in-law spoiled it for me because I know that they
Oh,
get the GI Joe card.
at the
Yeah.
end. Well, yeah, at
Am
the
I?
end they're
I'm not emotionally ready for another GI Joe film. Phil.
well, yeah,
After the last three,
I
uh,
agree, but I don't know. I'm
I told you the
hoping
Snake Eyes story, right?
about seeing Origins.
Yeah.
No.
So I went and saw it at the drive-in with my wife, and I said and I was really mad at the end of it with like the dragon or the giant snake and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just like, it's so easy. Just film the 3-issue origin story of Snake Eyes from the comic book.
Yeah.
Is like cinematic already.
Yeah.
That's a story. Just do that. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. And like this movie is the shits. And Becca looked at me. She's like, "You're gonna be really mad." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "I thought Snake Eyes was a bad guy." all these years. I thought he was a bad guy because he's in black. And I'm like, you've been with me like
Wow.
we'd already been together like 9 years, 10 years at this point. And I'm like, other than movies, like G.I. Joe is the biggest thing in my life. And I'm like, you didn't realize Snake Eyes was a bad guy. She's like, well, I never really listened to you when you talk.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. That's how my wife is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's crazy is the way the cartoon did it. And then if you read the books, they're like, they're enemies, him and Storm Shadow. But then like 10 episodes later, they're working together and they're with Jinx and they're doing this whole, and you're like, okay, so that's why
it's all very similar to Enter the Ninja.
Yeah.
Where like he was an American and he trained with them and they were jealous but you know what? Who cares?
Right.
Like I remember when the first issue of where they had like all the stuff on the cover of like the picture of Stalker, Snake Eyes, and that whole
helicopter
issue. Yeah. And when that issue ended, I remember my brother was like, "What's?" Because we would read it together, and my brother couldn't read. He's dyslexic, so my mom would read it to him, and we were just like, "What's next?" And like that 30 days until the next issue came was an intolerable wait because like especially, and it also happened in the silent issue. Obviously, is very. This is Phil on G.I. Joe. The issue where you see at the end of the silent issue where Snake Eyes has the Arashikage tattoo in the same place as Snake Eyes. Yeah. And like, unlike comics today, there's no payoff for that. It's like, oh yeah, cool. What's that mean?
You'll
find out.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, are they brothers? Or how do they know each other? And it was like 6 issues until they started telling you the story. And I love that. Like, also like, it's funny because people always say to me like, well, you're like very ultra left wing, beyond left wing. And like, why do you love G.I. Joe so much? And I'm like, if you ever read the comic, like it never glorifies war at all.
Yeah.
In fact, the opposite. Like, and that was Larry Hamill's intention because he was a veteran. And it's like, it really taught me a lot about, just like really good moral choices and stuff. And like, that's more than the cartoon never mattered to me. The comic is so important to me. And it's that's what I think of in my head.
Yeah. The realism of the comic book when it was shortly after the Buzzer and Ripper and all them were introduced. Yeah. And they're killing people on the freeway. Like they're wrecking cars and doing all that. And you're like, holy shit. And
they really set them up to just be like amazing killing machines. Yeah.
And and then you see the cartoon and you're like, okay, like, or same thing, Cobra Commander's like so vicious. I'm waiting for that figure of Cobra Commander when he's in disguise, when he thinks that Billy's dead and he's,
oh yeah,
like that. Well, I want to see that. Like that'll be a cool figure.
I hate that on the cartoons, the bad guys of cartoons, outside of like maybe Mumra, the bad guys on cartoons are never presented as dangerous as they should be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like Cobra Commander's a joke, and it's like he's anything but, and like he's a very much a person frustrated by the American dream.
Yeah.
And it's a very, and I know that's way too deep and rich for a cartoon.
Yeah.
But it's like, and also there's so many weird ideas in G.I. Joe, like that Springfield is where Cobra lives because there's a Springfield in every state. Yeah. And it's like they never tell you where this Springfield is. And it's like the idea that it's very prescient to today where it's the disenfranchised class of people that are the middle class and lower, that's who Cobra wants to be part of them because they can blindly get them to do whatever they want. Yeah. And it's like, because Cobra Commander's been there, he was a used car salesman and a single father and all this stuff. Like there's like a lot going on in that. Yeah. And that's the thing. So when you get one of these movies, and you're like, this is such a 2% of what this could be.
Yeah.
Like, and it's very frustrating.
Especially it was frustrating. That first one was like, and then the second one, when they actually had Cobra Commander looked cool. He's wearing black with red and the cool helmet finally. And you're like, okay. But, and that they had, all of that stuff that was going on was cool. The second one is probably better than the first.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then, you had Origins that was
from the director of Crazy Rich Asians and Step It Up.
Yeah.
The ninja fight scene looks good. That part's kind of thrilling.
Yeah.
But it's like, God, if Canon had made a G.I. Joe movie
Yeah.
with like, it would be perfect because like they would have had the right people to be like, that's the kind of one I want. Like how Delta Force is, but like with G.I. Joe, like that.
Yeah.
In the same way, there's never been a great G.I. Joe video game yet because they always want to make it too goofy. And it's just like, just make a Call of Duty clone.
Yeah.
And put the skins in it. Like,
exactly. That's what I told my cousin. I said, if they do another G.I. Joe, all I want is to have Gung Ho wear his Gung Ho outfit. I want everybody to wear their outfit and not have to be military and we know them by name. Like, no, you need to have them all be individual and it'd be awesome,
I will say though, it's funny, when I was a kid, I hated Cobra La and I hated all the
me too. All the like,
science fiction-y stuff.
Yeah.
And now I would say 90% of the G.I. Joe stuff I draw is the goofy fantasy shit. And like the figures that I make are all the neon ones. And I don't know what it is. Like maybe it's like kind of like the campiness of Batman, but I've also tried to reinvent them. We're trying to make them more sinister.
I think it is that. I remember reading the comic before they took them away off of whatever Marvel, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then they put out those big books that I never got, but I should. But I had read up to like 177 or whatever it was. But when it got to right before they went to space, they were doing the, it was Planet, Captain Planet and all that was big. So then they had the guy in the green and they had Flint, I think, wore a yellow one or maybe the green.
Oh, he's in the Eco Force costumes.
Yeah. And it was like, oh my gosh. So I was just like,
well, it's like they were getting killed by Ninja Turtles. So that's why like Mega Marines and the Mega Monsters line came out, because they were like, well, we could put slime in these and we can do stuff. And the goal was to do Battle Rangers, which is going to be the military style stuff. The whole end of the line's crazy though, because it was still selling. And Hasbro had just bought Kenner. And somehow the Kenner team manipulated their way into taking over G.I. Joe. And G.I. Joe's the brand that put Kenner out of business pretty much.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So a lot of those guys were, when G.I. Joe Extreme came out, which again, I hated when it came out. I draw a lot of G.I. Joe Extreme characters in my stuff that I do. And it's just like, I don't know. Yeah. It's, but I think there's a way, especially with the budget that they spent, there's a way of doing a good G.I. Joe. Just, you know what? Watch the first 2 minutes of the comic book movie. And like the Statue of Liberty scene, like if you can do that in a movie, like you're set.
Exactly.
And it's like, and it's like you can do these. There were good ideas even in the first one. Like I like Brendan Fraser being Lieutenant Stone, and there's some goofy stuff in it that's fun. I like the Pit. I like Hawk is good in it. Like, but again, there's other stuff in it where it's like, what? Who is this for?
Yeah,
because that's the hard part. I'm fascinated by this too. Is post Batman, Tim Burton Batman, we got like a lot of adaptations of comic stuff.
Yeah.
And also weirdly radio shows that like there's no audience for, like Green Hornet,
Shadow, Phantom,
Shadow,
Spirit.
Yeah. And it's like, I love those movies. Rocketeer kind of fits into it, even though it's later. But like, I love those movies. Dick Tracy too. I think these are all great. But it's like anyone that loved those properties is such a weird Uber fan that they're going to hate whatever you make.
Yeah.
And nobody else cares. Like there's the audience for people that care about the Phantom, at least in the US. In foreign countries, it's different. It is non-existent. And then it's like,
I was thinking of that for the Spirit, Will Eisner, that Frank Miller loves him so much that he made like a love letter to the Spirit, and everybody else was like, no thanks. Like, what do you do? What is this?
The TV movie is really good with Sam Jones. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Seen that? No.
It's really good. It gets the comic strip version, because like the Frank Miller one's like Frank Miller's Sin City, the Spirit.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? But this like feels, it doesn't have but like Sam Jones looks like Denny Colt, and like it has some good humor in it. Like it feels like it belongs in Will Eisner's world. And like that's kind of what, honestly, for the Spirit, they should just made an animated movie and it would have been easier. But again, like who cares about the Spirit? Like maybe you and I would, but we're not, there's not enough people. The Shadow is such a crazy movie because like my wife loves it, right? And I kind of like it, but it's like what a weird proposition. And they were trying to make Doc Savage for the longest time.
Mhm.
And it's like, who knows these characters anymore?
Yeah.
Who knows Lone Ranger enough for Disney to spend 400 million on
Yeah.
Lone Ranger?
Yeah.
And anybody that would want to go see it isn't the audience you want. They're like 80-year-old people that remember the radio and weird people like us that just like old pop culture.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't spend that much money. Like, you know what I mean? We're not going to buy the action. I might buy the action figures, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's for sure. Yeah, that is very interesting. I think it was just like, this property's coming up. Can we buy it and make everybody wanted to sequelize everything. And then when the Phantom doesn't do very well, which, by the way, go to Cinema Force and check out their on YouTube. They did a whole thing on the one that we did, The Shadow. And,
oh, wow.
The
Okay, I'll watch it.
Phantom one's coming out.
Smash Evil
And
with the Phantom.
Yeah. And then
Billy Zane looks great, though. I mean, the costume's awesome.
He sent me the TV. They had a TV show with
Mhm.
Isabella Rossellini. He sent me that. I gotta watch.
There's a cartoon too, Phantom 2040.
Yeah.
There's a new video game that just came out too.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And it's like in foreign countries, the Phantom is still a really big deal.
Yeah.
Like in this country, not as much. So, okay. Speaking of comics, Kino's putting out the 3 new Diabolic movies that came out in Italy by the Mazzetti brothers. I think that's their name. I saw the first 2. They're not as good as Danger Diabolic, but what is? But they're fun. They're good. It's cool that they're coming out in the U.S.
Comics, like 30 pages, like.
No, this is the movies. There's 3 movies.
Oh, the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew that those were coming
there
out.
There were new comics coming out too. Okay. Yeah.
Because I saw the cover for Danger Diabolique for the others. You could get that whole set. And
I'm definitely getting that set. Yeah.
I have Danger Diabolique from Kino, but I think I should get the 4K. It probably looks a lot better.
Oh, I still have a bootleg of the old one that was out back when it was out of print.
Yeah,
I got like a convention bootleg of it, and like again, like cool. Why? It's so weird. Like I have multiple copies of movies like Spookies, but something I really love, like Blood or Black Lace and Diabolic, I have a DVD of.
Yeah.
Come on, Sam. Yeah, you're a horrible physical media collector.
But
you know what I mean?
But also, like you've said before, with the way that you watch something, you said on your show, and then we'll wrap it up here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're done with G.I. Joe, we're talking about physical media. No, it's the thing where you said like they clean up that one movie. Some of these movies that they make 4K, you're like, I'm not used to seeing it like that.
And Manus the Hands of Fate's what I always say.
I'm used to seeing
it's too clean.
Like you and I are saying, give us the Roy Rogers of better quality. But if you grew up watching it this way, people will be like, it's like I always say with Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I'm like, how much better is that going to look in 4K when it's a movie from 1922? Like, come on.
Well, it's like a lot of the Fulci post 80s movies I originally saw in really multiple generation beat up VHS. And to me, like they look better because it hides some of the budget of the makeup. Yeah. And it's just like, I like that weird otherworldly quality of VHS, of the waviness. Yeah. And like, so when I get the 4Ks, it's really nice to have the 4Ks, but also it's like, it'd be neat if they put like
both versions.
Both versions. Yeah. I like that a lot of some era stuff lately has had like the Super 8 versions, Super 8 cuts of stuff. And like, I like getting that kind of stuff where getting like a grindhouse version of it, they call it sometimes, where it's like, here's just a pre-scan version of what it looked like.
Yeah. Like I was saying, like I have that 8mm of straight jacket. And so it'll play, and it's like 10 minutes long or whatever. And you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. But anyway, come back on September 12th when I will be joined for the first time by Cesar Manansala from the Rad Revival House podcast for... That's right. From 1984, it's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The plot is in 1935, Indiana Jones is tasked by Indian villagers with reclaiming a sacred stone stolen from them by a secret cult. So I don't think I'll play a trailer because it's probably all going to be. But the beginning of like I was just watching it earlier. I was playing on. You talk about Pluto. It was on Pluto, and it's a thing of, them going to Obi-Wan's this
Mm-hmm.
place, and then they're doing that whole thing of like the jewels for this, and then he's like the antidote for the poison you just drank, Mr. Jones, and you're like, oh shit. And then the whole scene of them, like him cutting down the thing and running behind the big gong, and it's awesome, and jumping out the window and landing, and then getting on the plane and being like, nice try, Lao She, and close the door and it says Lao She Airlines. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit. Then they're in the thing, and then the guys are gone. And now it's that thing of like, what do we do? And it's grabbing the inflatable raft. He's like, no more parachutes. And you're like, oh shit. And he grabs that raft, and she's like, we're not drowning, we're crashing. But the way they film that makes it more realistic of that inflatable raft like inflating as they're falling and then hitting the ground, and you see it's all in that one shot, and you're like, I can
Yeah.
believe that, and it's not from too far up, and you're like, okay. But some people are like, oh. And then it goes from there to more and more, then they go off the cliff and everything.
Yeah.
um
It's a
so
great movie. It's
yeah.
like, and you know what's funny is, as a kid, I didn't like it because
Mm-hmm.
I think it was maybe oddly too violent, or I don't know. But now it's
Yeah.
my favorite one of them.
Yeah, when growing, well, still to this day, my favorite movie of all time is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Not
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, but Raiders of the Lost Ark. And
Mm-hmm.
this one though, I was always like, I like 1 and 3, and then it comes to 2. But you're like, no, there's more to 2 than you think of. It's got
Yeah.
all the, the thing of like the spikes coming down, like him and her, like she even says, like, I scream way too much. I don't want to be this girl who's,
Yeah, but you know what? It's like
but it works.
it
Yeah.
grows on me now,
Yeah.
and like their romance feels more honest than some of the other movies.
Hmm.
Like I really like it. I like Short
Yeah.
Round a lot.
Yeah.
I like the bad guys are great.
Yeah.
Like it just works, and
Yeah.
like and I think, and especially like Dan Aykroyd shows up at the beginning, like super quick cameo, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, that's awesome. And like,
Yeah.
there's so much good stuff in it.
Yeah.
Monkey brains are great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I love it. I'm gonna do the geekiest film thing in 2 weeks. My brother got the new Planet of the Apes role playing game, which was a
Oh,
Kickstarter, and
interesting.
he bought the full, all the miniatures, everything.
Oh,
So
wow.
I have to games master the. I'm the law master of their Planet of the Apes universe. I don't know what kind of adventure we're gonna have,
I
but
was gonna say, so do you have to write it, or does it have a
yeah, it
scenario
has
that you
some
can
in
say
it, but
there?
I'm sure eventually we'll run out of those, and
Yeah.
because it's the
It's
same game system as James Bond, the West End game system, so I know it pretty well.
Oh,
But
interesting.
I'm very
Because
excited. The miniatures look great.
I think I told you that we used to play from Dungeons and Dragons. We created our own Robotech, and we would
Mm.
play ours, and our buddy would be the game master and be like, okay,
There was a GURPS Robotech book.
Mhm.
God, this is super geeky. How
Yeah.
did we ever get wives?
I don't know.
Like I've actually
So
had sex with my wife
when
a few times. Like it's
when my
pretty amazing.
when my wife came in to my apartment when we were having our first date, and she walks in, and I got like a shelf of all these toys up on the
Yeah,
shelf, and then I'm like, let me show you this kick-ass comic book. The kick-ass, the comic, quote
yeah,
unquote kick-ass, and I'm showing her that, and she's just like, okay. And then we go to eat, and we come back. I go, I want to show you True Romance because this is kind of my who I am. And she
yeah.
watches it and loves it, and I'm like, I don't know how you got
Was
with
that the move?
okay, I
True
guess
Romance was the
maybe,
move.
yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
Wow. I
So
don't know what it was. I think we just liked each other. I don't know.
mhm.
It's funny though, because like I remember the first time she stayed at the house, like she went upstairs and she's like, "You have a lot of the same tank," and I was like, "Yeah, I know it's a his tank," and it was like, because at that point if I had never gotten married again, like I was like fine
Yeah,
with it, and I
yeah,
was very unapologetic about the things that and like just like I am now, the things that I like,
yeah.
and it worked out.
Yeah, it's
So
the and it's the things that make you comfortable. My cousin just got a divorce. He realized that he got rid of all the stuff he liked to like do this. And I go, no, I have this whole wall over here, Condor Man, the novel, the novelization. I have my Moonraker fold out thing. I have, my picture of Dukes of Hazzard. I have my picture of, the greatest American hero, Dave and Maddie from Moonlighting, and Last Starfighter. Like that's all my childhood right there. And then my G.I. Joe big poster with my 4 comics around it. And it's awesome. But anyway, real quick, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is streaming with a subscription on Disney and Paramount, or you could rent or buy it digitally on Amazon, Apple, YouTube, or Fandango at home, or you could buy a physical copy like I have of. I only have the Blu-ray. I didn't do 4K, but I bought the 4K digital, so I have that. So now we're on to you. Where can people find you again?
You find me at B&S, like bands. Aboutmovies.com is my website. That's also the name of the podcast. New episodes every Friday at noon. They're short, 10 minutes tops. Yep. I can't remember what's on this week, but you'll find out when you listen. I think Meteor. I just did Meteor, which is not a good.
Is that
movie.
the Sean Connery one?
Oh,
I still haven't seen that. Oh,
you don't need to see it. It's good. I did that and Black Roses in the same episode. 2 movies that don't go together.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then you can every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, go to the Groovy Doom YouTube or Facebook live channel, and you can watch us streaming. And then, every once in a while I'll do other videos and other things. Hopefully some more stuff coming. Hopefully movies coming. We'll see. But thanks for having me on. Yeah, I love talking movies. Obviously, if you, like I said, anybody wants me to talk on your show, just ask and I will come on and blab about Ernest Borgnine.
Exactly.
And his wife Tova.
Rain. Yeah, and him masturbating. Did you hear on? We'll end with this on Smartless. Will Arnett had read like the biography or heard an interview by Ernest Borgnine, and Jason lives in Ernest Borgnine's old house. And so he goes, "Hey, Jason, do you know that Ernest Borgnine masturbated in every room of that house?" Like he said that's what kept him young. He's like, so think about that whenever you're in the kitchen, making a sandwich, whatever. Was like, oh, that's hilarious.
I can just imagine his vinegar strokes, what they looked like. They look frightening. That's the man that was Golobus in G.I. Joe, the movie.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
yeah.
Goodness. Yeah, I just watched, when we did the Dirty Dozen, I watched all the sequels. So I watched the Dirty Dozen. The second one had Lee Marvin in it. And then the third and the fourth one. The third one had Paunch in it. And then the fourth one had John, which was funny.
Oh, man.
But
I like that.
Or maybe it was John and then Punch. Yeah.
Oh, Larry Wilcox and Eric Estrada.
Yeah. But it was fun. But thank you for joining us. We hope you had fun and maybe learned something about a movie that may have had a part in making Tarantino. Goodbye.
Goodbye.